All right. Good morning, everybody. Let me pop this music down. That might be absurdly too loud. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Now, listen, I'm moving the show to YouTube, and this is the process. And you can go over to YouTube right now. You can check out the live stream if, in fact, that's what you're into. You might not be into video. You might just have time to do audio in the morning. Good morning to you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And let's get into it. So yesterday they had a big meeting because Cincinnati is a series of big meetings over at Corinthian Baptist Church, which is actually the church that if I had been baptized and belonged, I guess that's what you got to do officially to belong to a church. That is the church that I would. That's the church that I would belong to. I've said it many times before. That's the church that my wife goes to, and KZ is a family friend, and it's just a really really awesome church over there. And for folks who haven't been over there, you should go over there and check it out. They had a big meeting, had a lot of folks together. They brought together a panel, and it was a parent town hall meeting. And there were a lot of people that were on the panel. There was representatives from the NAACP on the panel. You had a chief of staff of a member of city council, who I believe used to be on the Cincinnati School Board. Ben Chavis was on the board as well, along with Laura Mitchell, who's the current superintendent. She is an African American female, and it was quite interesting. There was a lot of questions. It was hosted by the big homie Linka Ware. A lot of folks might know who he is, and I thought everybody did an excellent job. And I got a chance to catch up with some people in the crowd as well, including State Senator Cecil Thomas. Got a chance to powwow with him a little bit. Last week we were talking about, what would it take to put the action in place to, change perhaps the laws. Well, it was uncovered during the Is It Just Me podcast. We'll be back on Friday for another live streaming broadcast at 12:30 p.m. I've heard great things about that stream. Thank you so much. Please like and share. A lot of very relevant information. But you know what? Just a straight up unique opinion from Donnie B as well. So if you're not hip to it, please check that out. And to all the folks who might be hearing my voice for the first time, you can go over to Sin Digital Media on Facebook and check it all out right there. A lot of podcasts, all centered for what's happening with the urban community here in the greater Cincinnati area. So what was uncovered is the fact that there are some loopholes or some areas for improvement, however you want to look at it, in terms of the rights that children have, that minors have to when dealing with law enforcement. I mean, did you know that in Ohio, it is completely legal for the police to interrogate your child, your minor, even when you're not around? Now, this was inspired by the tragic circumstances of the so-called Central Park Five, now called the Exonerated Five. And the idea is to figure out what we can do here at home. So I got a chance to powwow with Cecil Thomas just a little bit, and I'll tell you what he said in just a couple of minutes. Let me throw the number out to the ether and see what happens. 513-873-7134. That is my number if you like to share your thoughts. Today is Wednesday. Now, I think it was Monday I think it was Monday. We had some folks who are interested in maybe doing a watch party. If you're interested in terms of you will actually attend, I'll set it up on Thursday. Okay, there's several opportunities that we can get together at a Black-owned business. I put something up inside the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show page. Check it out, or just let me know, and I want to make sure there's an interest, okay, for people to do it. I know it's short notice, and looking forward, I'll set something up several weeks in advance, further in advance for the next round, because this is not the only round of presidential debates. So if you're interested, let me know, and we can make that happen. Most certainly. It's quite interesting. There was a lot of people in the room. Cedric Denson, shout out to Cedric Denson. He was in the room yesterday. I'm sure there's a lot of people I will forget. Seen a lot of folks, ran into a lot of folks I haven't seen in a while. Of course, the NAACP was fully represented. They were fully represented there. I've seen a lot of folks, including their president, Rob Richardson, was there. TNT was there, right? Don't forget the Truth to Power podcast. If you really want to know what the NAACP is doing and what their focus is, all you got to do is listen to it. Share that information. Who else was in the house? Just a lot of folks, listeners, a lot of folks who I've met over the years. It was great. Ran into Sister Sandra. Good to see you, Sister Sandra. We were able to connect. We've been conversing back and forth. Tracy Hunter was there as well, Judge Tracy Hunter. And there were a lot of people wearing support Judge Tracy Hunter t-shirts. I mean, there's a real sort of like, with that whole Tracy Hunter thing, man, it really is a big divide in the community. And I've always known it. There's a big divide in the community where it's like, it's like the people don't have no power to help her. You know what I'm saying? When I say no power, I'm not saying that people don't have power, but I'm saying like there are people out there that have the power to do something, but they ain't doing nothing for their own. I've heard all kinds of different things about Tracy Hunter. So everybody's got their viewpoint. Okay. And, when I see the community, though, the community seems to be 100% behind her. And it's an interesting duality when it relates to Tracy Hunter. We might get a chance to get into it this morning. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Again, 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. And I got up a simple stream. We're going to go more pro with it tomorrow with the YouTube. But for now, just a simple stream. You can check me out and look inside the studio. Gives us another platform and another level of engagement as well. If you're into that kind of thing, you can find me at Nathan Ivey Show. Nathan Ivey Show. You can find me there. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. See a lot of folks in the room today. Good to see everybody. Yeah, most def. And I've even got a thing we can put your live stream up on the screen as well if people want to read along at home. Yesterday was great. Actually, I went over to the event with the wifey, and it's always great being with her. We had she makes me look a lot better. But she was concerned for her own reasons as well about the state of our schools and our children and things like that. I'm going to reach out to Laura Brunner and bring her on. I'm sorry, Laura Mitchell, and bring her on and see if she'll be willing to come on the show because I've got a lot of questions. And I've got some concerns. And I've got a lot of concerns when it comes to CPS. I've been talking about it for some time because, my daughter goes to a CPS school. And it's very interesting, the perceptions that people have of the schools. What's so funny, man, is that, and I love running into listeners. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Someone came over to me and they were like, Nate, I heard the show that you did. I don't know when it was, a week or two back. A lot of people heard that show. I heard a lot of comments afterward in which I was talking about CPS and that's Cincinnati Public Schools. And I was talking about their new anti-bullying policy, which to me is, bullshit. I mean, I just don't think it's comprehensive enough. And I'm not really sure what the hell. I've got some questions. And that was the question I had for Laura Brunner. Laura Brunner. I don't know why I want to call her that. Laura Mitchell. But I didn't get a chance to get it in. They shut down the conversation, the questions before I could get it in. There was a lot of people ahead of me. But I'll do my due diligence and circle around because as a parent, as someone who worked inside a school building, so I look at myself as somebody who's heavily invested in youth development. No. Some of that just don't make no sense at all. And there were some things that I think from my vantage point that should be a part of the focus if you're really serious about the whole, anti-bullying campaign. If you're really serious about that, it seems like there was like at least two things that were left off the list. And I want to ask Ms. Mitchell about that to see if maybe behind closed doors, that's something that they're aware of and that they're focused on. Because like I told you, now they got some new app. You can download an app if your kid's being bullied. Well, they already had a website. They had a website and it was dedicated to bullying. And, they've got emergency numbers. You call these numbers, nobody answers. You leave a message, the damn message box is full. So parents are getting, very frustrated because there's nowhere to go. There are parents out there, and I have talked to them. There are parents out there that have had major concerns with teachers, with the behavior of teachers, stuff that you would blow your mind. You wouldn't even believe it. They run it to the administrators. They might even get a meeting with the administrator, okay? And same thing happens again. They run it back to the administrator. I'm talking about the principal and the assistant principals in these schools. and not every school is the same. I'm speaking very generally. And, nothing happens. So then they get upset and they want to run to the district. You go to the district, nothing happens. Like right now, Laura Mitchell, and maybe this has changed, but right now, there's no direct contact from the public to Laura Mitchell. Like, how do you get in contact with her? And I can understand she's busy. She's doing policy and representing the district and blah, 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 blah. She's doing a lot of busy stuff. So now you have these assistant superintendents. Good luck with that. You might get a meeting with them. You might not. You might set up a meeting and then they go on vacay. You don't know. Meanwhile, time's ticking. School year be back in what? Less than 2 months? So there's a lot of serious questions that need to be asked. And I'm built for this. I'm just the one to ask this. So I'm going to reach out today and see if I can secure an interview. I did get a chance. I'm so glad I went. I did get a chance to meet someone who's in a new position over at CPS in the teachers union with a relationship between both. And, she had heard about the show as well, and we got a chance to converse. So I'll let you know. That's a very serious issue. And like I said, my son is 4. And if we're still living in Cincinnati, which I have no plans on leaving, then he's got to come up in the school system. And so that means the school system has to be responsive to the needs of the people. And that whole Gabriel Tate situation can happen to your kid. Can happen to your child. And people can think like, oh man, if it happened to my kid, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yeah, people have done that. People have done that. And, I'm not saying that CPS doesn't have efforts and they're not doing great work in some cases. In some cases they are. In some cases, quite frankly, they're not. They're not. Oh, we got a new app. You can download the app. It's just about bullying. Well, you had a special phone number and a special email before. So what's the difference? What's the difference? You tell me. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. You know the conduit to do so. Let's get into it. So I got a chance to talk with State Senator Cecil Thomas. And I told him about the Donnie B Is It Just Me podcast and what was discussed and what was discussed afterward. And he was aware of it. He was aware of the issues and loopholes. Cecil Thomas is a former member of law enforcement, longtime police officer. He was on city council for the longest as well, and for a long time, and multiple terms. And, he shared with me that he's certainly open for his office to write up the legislation. He also shared with me some of the realities of the current political paradigm, in terms of the constitution of the state legislature in Ohio. And he said to me, frankly, Nate, it's going to be very hard and if near impossible to get these Republicans to go down with something like that. Well, that might be true. But one thing we know about life is that there's one thing that is consistent and constant. And what is that? Change. So just because that's the constitution of the state legislature now, it doesn't mean it has to be that way in 4 years, in 6 years, in 8 years. I mean, change will happen. And, I think the smartest move is to move forward with those initiatives for several reasons. So I was very happy to hear that State Senator Cecil Thomas is willing to pick up the charge. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm not alone in this. There's many members of my audience who feel very similar about this. What can we do to assist in what you do? So we did have a good conversation, and I'm going to circle back around, get him on the show as well later this week, and we can talk it out. We can talk it out and figure out what needs to happen. Because, I don't care any minor. You can be the hardest, the most conscious, the most woke person in the world, but your kid is a kid. They're still a child. And we teach our kids at young ages to obey, respectful and righteous authority. I teach my daughter to obey righteous authority. I've told her straight up, I believe you over any human on the planet other than your mama. My mama, my brother, anybody, I believe you over anybody on the planet other than your mama. Because I know she's got your best interest in your heart. So if an adult tells you to do something that is not righteous and you know it's wrong, you ain't got to do it. Tell them to call me. I'll be there in a second. I'll be there in a second. But, there are a lot of kids that get interrogated behind closed doors before you know they've incriminated yourself. Again, that was the gist of the conversation last Friday. If you missed it, it's on our Facebook page right now. You can check it out. You can check it out right now. It's a damn shame. But it was very encouraging to hear that from State Senator Cecil Thomas. So we shall see. We shall see. Again, 513-873-7134 if you like to share your thoughts. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning. Because, like I said, when I watched the Netflix series, I was outraged. I was outraged to see what was happening with them young brothers, man. Railroaded for what? Didn't even know each other. For what? Only to be exonerated many years later. And the police knew the whole time that there was a lot of evidence to suggest that there was another rapist who had a history of doing his things all by himself. Very interesting. Tonight is going to be, hold on. Tonight is going to be round one of the debates for this week. And I want to give you a sense of who is going to be on stage. Okay. As I understand it, there's in total 20 potential nominees, candidates for the Democrat nomination, 20. So they're going to break it up 10 per night. 10 per night. And a 10-person debate, that is, listen, I'm all about debate, but 10 people trying to debate at one time, that seems a bit excessive, but it is what it is. And I want to give you a sense of what the lineup is going to be for those who might watch it, for those who might be interested. So tonight, which is the first night of the debate, it's going to feature Bill de Blasio, Tim Ryan, right? Cory Booker. These are names of individuals who you support already. This is the first night. I'll take it from the top. Bill de Blasio, Tim Ryan from Ohio, Julian Castro, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, Amy Klobuchar, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee, and John Delaney. That's going to be on Wednesday night. It's going to be on Wednesday night. Now, on Thursday night, it's going to feature Marianne Williamson, John Hickenlooper, Andrew Lang, Pete Buttigieg. Where the hell you at, Drop? Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Kristen Gillibrand, Michael Bennett, and Erichs Wawel. Erichs Wawel. So let me see. It looks like they broke up the black people. They broke up the African Americans or the people of color. Kamala Harris, she's going to be on Thursday. And then Cory Booker is going to be tonight. Let me see here. Yeah, it's going to be tonight. It seems like it's even. It seems like an even. I see they broke up Bernie Sanders as well. They broke up Bernie Sanders. He's going to be on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, which is tonight, you're going to have Elizabeth Warren. So kind of breaking up, both of them are looked upon as progressives. The event is going to take place from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each night. It's going to air on NBC, MSNBC, and Telemundo. Yeah, let me see who the debate hosts are going to be. So night one is Cory Booker, Castro, Bill de Blasio, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Tim Ryan, and Elizabeth Warren. That's going to be tonight. So there's your representation for you right now. I don't know. I mean, I would have maybe switched it around a little bit differently for effect or so, but I mean, this is going to be whittled down very, very quickly. You know that. And 20 people, some of these people stand out to me. Like Cory Booker stands out to me. Who else? Elizabeth Warren stands out to me. I'm talking about on first night. This is the first night. Like, just who do I think has a snowball's chance in hell Cory Booker. We'll have to wait and see because somebody could put in a very impressive display tonight that will give them like a bump in the polls tomorrow, and everybody be talking about it. So there it is. That's going to be your first night of debates if you're into watching these kind of stuff. That's a hell of a lot of people. I mean, are they going to ask everybody? I mean, you got 10 people and you got 2 hours. So how many questions are they really going to get a chance to get through with 10 people on the stage? Like you got 10 people on the stage. If every person gets 1 minute, right? Then, and you know they're going to get longer than that. But if every person gets 1 minute, then you can probably get like 5 questions in per hour. That's with no rebuttals. That's with no grandstanding. I mean, that's just straight up asking questions, right? With nothing else on it. So we have to wait and see. But I think that, as a viewer, for me personally, what I'm going to be keeping in mind is what's important to me. What are the issues that are important to me? And I'm going to write down a list of those issues before the debates start because I want to see if anybody hits on those issues. Okay? And the people that touch upon those issues are going to be the people that catch my ear and catch my attention. I'm broadcasting live from Cincinnati, Ohio. Tim Ryan is from Ohio. He's the one who he decided to run for president because his daughter said, "Daddy, you should run for president. Stop all these jobs from leaving our area." He said, "By golly, I'm gonna do it," which I guess is just as good as any other reason, right? But you tell me, 513-873-7134. Let's go to the choppers. Pat writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Pat. Ray writes, good morning, all. Hey, good morning to you, Ray. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday, Nate and the choppers. Good morning to you, Brenda. Fame Rothstein's in the house. Conceited bastard, you. He writes, good morning to everyone except people who put salt on watermelon. You know you're wrong for that. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the choppers. Good to see you, Ashley. CJ's in the house. He writes, good morning, everyone. Hey, good to see you, CJ. Miss D writes, greetings. Good to see you, Miss D. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Good morning to you, Tanika. CG Dub writes, good morning, choppers. Hey, good morning to you. Sissy Tigers writes, happy hump day. Happy hump day to everybody. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate and the choppers. Can't tell me nothing. I know that's right. Hey, good to see you. Broadway Flow writes, good, my God, secret lawsuits, stage resistance that hurt the ones you should be helping, and putting weirdo broads out there to smear the president. The Democrats have gone crazy. Anyway, good morning, alt-middle, Ayatollah, stand up. Weirdo broads. Weirdo? Weirdo broad? Who's a weirdo? You talking about the woman who's accusing the president of rape? He seems to have a lot of that follows him. He seems to have a lot of that follows him. I don't remember Barack Obama having all of this. I mean, you could say he was ineffective or he was a plant or, he was really a Republican or whatever the hell you want to say. He was really a Kenyan. I just don't remember all these scandals. How many women came forward and said, hey, Barack Obama raped me back in college? I don't remember that. I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire sometimes. Yeah. Most times. Most times. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I don't know. You talking about secret lawsuits? I'm not sure what you're talking about. You talking about here locally with the text messages? I did read that. I know the gist of it. Apparently 2 anonymous Democrats who were, I guess they were texting members of city council. And when a local judge, ordered that members of city council turn over their personal emails and text messages. See, that's the other thing that gets caught out of it or gets left out of it. We're talking about personal text messages as well. Some of the people who were the personal on the text messages have filed a lawsuit saying that they were injured in some way. So, that BS continues. The BS distraction continues. That's the biggest distraction that I've seen in a long time. And that's exactly what it was designed to do. Ray writes, $4.5 billion for border assistance. Good to see we're spending our money in the great ways. Good to see that. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag Team NI. Good morning to you. Kiki writes, great risings, Mr. Ivey and the choppers. Good to see you. Angela writes, salutations. Good to see you. She writes, I don't understand it all, so I'm basically neutral on Judge Hunter. There's a lot of people neutral. I mean, there's a lot of people, like I told you, I've had conversations behind closed doors where people have told me, like, nah, we ain't gonna be able to do it in terms of supporting Judge Hunter because of, things that they think that she did, right? Along the way. We've heard that from a lot of people. And, again, all this stuff I think is valid information. It's just very interesting to see how this all plays out. And it was said last night or yesterday that I think Lincoln said it. They're trying to put her in jail next month. So she's putting up a legal defense fund. Ben Chavis was on the panel, and he said that they're going to be doing an interview with Tracy Hunter, and I don't know what he means by they, just his organization. He's in town because there's like a black press thing that's going on, and it's going to culminate with Bernie Sanders doing a speech on Friday. So I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure. He says, we're going to take it national. Great. Let me see. Angela writes, effing chaos is what it'll be. I predict lots of over talking. Yeah, right. It's going to take a strong moderator, a moderator that just don't give a F, and a strong plan beforehand to stop that from happening. I mean, there's a way to do it, but it's got to be a lot of planning beforehand, and you need a very strong moderator, somebody that's not afraid to just jump in and cut people off, and they'll hate you for it or whatever. If they get a person like that, it's all gravy. If they don't, you're right. It's going to be a lot of over talking because if I'm a presidential candidate, you better believe I'm going to talk. You can believe that. Look, I don't care who on the stage. I'm running for president. You can knock it off. I will be heard. There's no doubt about it. And there's 10 of us on stage, man, please. So if I've got that attitude, you better believe these politicians, man, who know how the game works, they're going to make sure they get their words in. You can believe that. Angela writes, you got to balance the colors for the visual aesthetics. I thought the same thing. But, either way, though, like if they put Kamala and Corey on the same night, people say, oh, they putting all the black folks together. And if they separate them, people say, see, we got to balance it out. So they had to do something. I don't know what I would prefer. I think I prefer it this way, quite honestly. And that way, there's only 2 African American people of color up there, right? So this way, it kind of gets like Corey has his night, if you want to look at it that way, and then Kamala have her night, and you can properly focus on the energy that they're bringing to the conversation and what they're saying, as opposed to them both being right next to one another and canceling one another out or somehow being pitted against one another. I don't know. It's a lot of ways of looking at it. But I will be viewing it tonight. Sharp writes, good morning, Choppers. Hey, good morning to you, Sharp. Cerinthia writes, morning. Good morning to you, Cerinthia. How many people are over on YouTube checking out the stream over there? Feel free to do so. You can feel free to check out the stream over there. Yeah, what's going on? And matter of fact, I've got your live stream chat up on the screen as well, so everybody can see it on the screen. Broadway Flo writes, Nathan, Obama is no longer president. You shouldn't talk about him. Also, Nathan, Trump is accused of something. Never heard of this Obama. Shaking my head, right. CG Dub writes, Nate, can you get Jeff Pastor back on your show and ask him what happened to the expungement clinic he was working on having? Okay, I will do that. I'll do just that. So what do you mean? They're not coming back, or they did it a year ago, right? Okay, is that what, I don't, what's the timeline here? I mean, is it an annual event? I just don't know. Was it a one-time thing? But I'll reach out to him and ask him that. Hold on, let me get my notepad here. Hold on. Yeah, you get to see everything on YouTube now. Yeah. If I don't make a note of it, I may forget. So there it is. Angela writes, go to jail, do your time, and continue fighting it in crooked judicial system. The court of public opinion is not going to restore her to anything worthwhile. I mean, I get it. Again, I understand that viewpoint. I've heard it. There's another side of it. The other side of it is they don't want her to go to jail. There's people who believe that her going to jail would be a further travesty of justice. And I've been told That there are people out there willing to go to, a lot of lengths, maybe getting incarcerated themselves to prevent her from going to jail. Because, like I said, it's a strange, the Tracy Hunter thing is one of the strangest things that I've seen. I won't say it's strange. It's very interesting, the layers of this. Because, like I said, I've talked to people who are like, nah, mm-mm, because of this, and this. And I've talked to several people like that. Several people like that, with stature in the community. And they're like, nah. We, this, she did this, she did that. We can't do that. At the same time, and on the grassroots level, like the people, like when they rocking the t-shirts, they ready to go to battle, or at least that's what they're saying anyway, right? It's quite interesting. We'll see. All I know is that, she was convicted of that charge. I think it was BS, but she was convicted of that charge. And she lost her appeals. And now she's looking at jail time, and that's a very serious thing. And I did get a chance to hug Tracy yesterday. I did see her. And like I said, I was there with the wifey, so we talked to her for just a quick minute. I love that Corinthian church, by the way, man. Oh my God. Every time I go over there, I just get great feelings, man. I just love to see Black people doing well. Beautiful church. They're going to do great work over there, Corinthian Baptist. They've got a daycare facility, man. It's excellent. It is excellent. But that whole Tracy Hunter thing is very, very interesting. Very interesting. Sister V writes, Hotep, good people. Hey, any update on the leader of the alt-middle movement? You talking about Black Russia? No. I wish the brother the best. I sent him a message, I sent him a message just wishing him well. I'm not sure if he received it or not. Like I said, we had our battles, and, which I'll appreciate, though, because I appreciate different viewpoints. But at the end of the day, like I told you, I hate to see anybody, especially Black people, get caught up with the legal system. You know what I'm saying? I hate to see it. It's just a bad way to go. But at this point, it is what it is. It's Black Night if they schedule them on the same night. Yeah, that's what people will say. That's what I'm saying. If they put the two Black candidates or people of color on one night, people are going to say, oh, you segregating us. And if you separate them, they'll say, oh, we have to have balance. And I think they do have to have balance. I think it's better that way for the candidates. I think it's better for Kamala, and I think it's better for Cory Booker that they're going to be on separate nights. It's better for me because now I get to sit back and watch the energy they bring to the situation. I get a chance to sit back and watch, how people react to them, whether they're specific ideas, what do they believe in, what they don't believe in, and I could just focus on them if, in fact, that's what you want to do. CG Doug writes, no, he said he was going to announce an expungement clinic around Father's Day. He was supposed to be working with some church to host a clinic. Just wanted to know where he was on that. I will reach out to him. I certainly will. I'll reach out to him today. Yeah, I ask him. Yeah, I ask him, and either he'll respond or he won't. But I think that's a fair question. Yeah. Angela writes, I would love to see people get locked up with her just like the good old civil rights days. Well, you might see that. You might see that. You might see that. So, like I said, it's Tracy Hunter is such a polarizing topic. She's very polarizing. Very, very polarizing. And again, there are people who are completely ignorant about it. Like, I've talked to friends of mine who, they're not really in the news like, I am, and they're not really following things like that, but just don't have no idea. Like, oh, what's this Tracy Hunter? So they're asking me. And I'm like, Google it. It's a long ass story. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time to explain all of that. But at the same time, there are people who are like, mm-mm. And then there's people who like all the way. It's very interesting. It really is. And I don't want to see the sister go to jail. I don't want to see nobody go to jail. I want to be sure we understand this. I don't want to see nobody go to jail. But we shall see. We shall see. Bunky writes, what's up, Nate? What's up? Mike Jones writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Mike Jones. Bunky writes, snacks and salt on watermelon is right there with a hot comb on the stove right next to cooking grease in an old coffee can. There's nothing wrong with cooking grease in an old coffee can. Get that straight, man. Now you're going too far. Some things we have to preserve. Some things we must preserve, bro. Let me see here. So tonight, I'm talking about the debates for a minute. The first Democratic debate, night one. You got Cory Booker, Julian Castro, who says a lot of great things. He makes a lot of sense. Bill de Blasio, of course, he's the mayor of New York. John Delaney, relatively unknown to me. Tulsi Gabbard, some of these folks I don't have no chance in hell at all. And then you got Elizabeth Warren. I mean, the big names on night one to me, of course, are Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke, who, because he lost a Senate race in Texas, thinks he's qualified to be president, which I think is hilarious. You lost, B. And the B is appropriate because his name starts with a B, Beto. You lost, B. Sit down. It's a wrap for you, but he's out there again. That's night one. Night two, you got Michael Bennett. Never heard of him. Joe Biden. And we did so much Joe Biden conversation. Joe Biden is polarizing. Pete Buttigieg, who, listen, Pete, before you decide you want to be president, shouldn't you be clean up South Bend, Indiana? You should be making sure that your police officers are not killing and shooting unarmed black people, Pete. That's what you should be doing. Why would I elect you president and you look like a deer in headlights when you get confronted by angry black people, right? It was hilarious. He's sitting there like, this ain't a good look. No, Pete, it's not a good look. What's going on with the South Bend, Indiana Police Department, Pete Buttigieg? Start right there. Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Erichs Wawel, Marianne Williamson, and Andrew Young. So I think on night two, the big names obviously are going to be Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and I don't know who the next will be. I mean, everybody else is kind of phased into the background. I mean, Pete Buttigieg, it's great, and maybe he's building momentum for a national campaign in 4 years, but not this year, B. You need to take your ass back to South Bend and clean up your police department. That's what you should be doing, Pete. That's what it is. Erichs Wawel, I like what he says. He's been on crazy MSNBC, CNN shows, caught up with the Mueller report. He's diametrically opposed to Trump, which is cool with me, but I'm not sure. Now, Marianne Williamson, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm going to give you some more details about these candidates in just a minute. Fame Rice Bunky, I'm not sure what he started. Iris Rice, good morning, great people. I ran to Sister Iris. Of course, she was in the house. Yeah, Angela Rice, Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum lost, but people are willing to back them for a White House run. Well, I mean, me included. Number one, I love that they're black. Number two, in both of those races, I mean, especially with Stacey Abrams, there's a lot of conversation about votes being not registered. We know the games that were being played by her opponent. And I don't know. I think Andrew Gillum has a lot of potential. The other thing is that neither one of them are going to be on the stage, right? So Andrew Gillum lost and he's not running. And to this point, I don't think that Stacey Abrams has announced as well. She has announced as well. That's just white man arrogance. That's what it is with Beto O'Rourke, in my humble opinion. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Bunky writes, Joe the Bigot Biden, the fat-free, gluten-free, lesser of the two racist, hashtag tangibles. Broadway Flo writes, will there be any black moderators? Which is always one of my favorite questions. Let me double check here and see who the moderators are going to be, because that matters. That matters. That matters. I love to have Roland Martin as a moderator. I would. Well, because say what you want about Roland Martin is, and he may not ask all the questions that every black person or African Americans want to hear, but he will ask those questions with Roland Martin. He will focus on that kind of stuff a little bit. Let me see if I can find out who the moderators are going to be, because that does matter, doesn't it? Strong moderator, people you can depend on to ask some damn good questions. I think that goes a long way. Mason Muller writes, Stacey Abrams will probably run for Georgia's Senate seat. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, she lost running for governor down in Georgia because of some sucker MC political games by her opponent, who simultaneously was the Secretary of State and controlling all of the voting, policies and procedures. What a great advantageous position to be in. Here you are in charge of the way that the state of Georgia executes its elections, and you're also running for governor. So he did what they do. The allegation is that he used every power he had, and that's really how Stacey Abrams came to prominence down in Georgia. Is she was resisting some of the voter suppression efforts that were in place, made a name for herself, and then some people say, again, I haven't looked at the numbers, I'm just telling you what I've read, that she lost to those similar voter suppression efforts. Man, it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. Let me see, who are the moderators for the debate? It's a good question. See, moderators. Hold on one. All right, so we're going to have Lester Holt, Savannah Guthrie. God damn. I'm not a big Savannah Guthrie fan. Rachel Maddow, Jose Diaz-Balart, and Chuck Todd. Those are going to be your moderators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are going to be your moderators. Which means that out of the first set of Democratic presidential debates, only one is going to be a white male. And is that enough representation for you? So you got Lester Holt, Savannah Guthrie, Rachel Maddow, Jose Diaz-Balart, and Chuck Todd, a.k.a. the Human Thumb. Let me see here. I mean, if you're an African American, do you feel like that's enough representation for you? Do you feel like that's enough? I don't know. To me, well, let me get your thoughts on it. Again, 513-873-7134. You let me know what that lineup sounds like for you. CG Dub writes, Savannah Guthrie, she sucks. I'm not a big Savannah Guthrie fan. She's great at what she does. I ain't hating on her, but nah. Because she can get caught like a deer in the headlights too, right? Remember when she had a back and forth with Omarosa, when Omarosa first left the Trump administration? Remember that? And she had to check her like, who gonna check me, boo? And Savannah was like, oh gosh, I've gone too far. But it is what it is now. If you don't like it, here's my question. Who would you rather have? And you got to keep in mind that this is NBC. So NBC, MSNBC, this is NBC's deal, basically. So that means that their NBC affiliates and all of the hosts and their MSNBC affiliates and all the hosts are going to be candidates to be, to be the moderators. They're not going to call Roland Martin because he's not really associated with their network. They're not going to call, I'm not sure who would be the next person in line. I'm not even sure who that person would be. They're not going to call Mark Lamont Hill, per se, right? They're not going to call Mark Lamont Hill. They're going to call somebody who is already one of their hosts so that now it becomes like, promotion. I get it. Mason Marlin writes, you know what it is, Native Republicans can't get 5 to 8% of the black vote. They steal it from black people. CG Dub writes, I ain't hate on her either. I just don't care for her whack ass. I'm with you 1,000%. Mason Marlin writes, good. Glad they have Chuck Todd, the human thumb. Big fan of MTV. MTP. Yeah, Chuck Todd is he's okay. I mean, he's cool. I like his politics, or not his politics, but I like the fact that he's willing to ask tough questions. I'm down with that. He's the host of Meet the Press, MTP, Meet the Press, which I watch from time to time. I catch it more on replay. I catch it more on YouTube than anything else now. Ray writes, Joy and Reed. Ray, how the hell did I miss that? You right. They should have Joy Reid up here. Where is Joy Reid? That is Ray, good points. Good point right there. Right. Joy Reid. Joy Reid should be there. Right. She's on MSNBC. She does a show. She's a dark-skinned black female. Boom. There it is. Why isn't she there? I would take out, listen, we willing to trade Lester Holt for Joy Reid. Really what I would keep is I'd keep Lester, and then I'd get rid of Samantha Guthrie, and I'd put Joy Reid there. That's what I would do. CG Dub writes, Al Sharpton, another good one. Yeah, why isn't Al Sharpton? Yeah, I'll take either. Between the two of them, I mean, I think I'll take Joy Reid between the two of them, actually, if I had a choice. But I would take those two over Samantha Guthrie and Leslie Holt. Okay? Leslie Holt ain't bad. He ain't a bad guy. He does his thing. So that'll be the big debate for tonight. And will you be watching it? Again, I posted something in the Facebook page, the Friends page. You can also let me know here if you're willing to or interested in, because I know it's short notice. You might want to check it out at home. If you're going to do that, then I might just do a live stream, a watch party, straight from YouTube. But I want to know if you're interested in all posseing up and going out to an event together. That will be tomorrow. I'm certainly not going to do it today. It's just not enough time. And that will be tomorrow. So just let me know. I know it's late, 9 or 11. It's a weekday. I get it. I understand it. But let me know. See here. Okay, so I think I went through that. I'll also give you a sense of what the debate schedule is moving forward, okay? Because there will be a series of debates, more debates as well throughout the summer, and we can get into it. Broadway Flow writes, will there be any black moderators? Yes, Lester Holt. Yes. Be grateful. Tanika writes, I would have preferred Chris Matthews over who? Would I take Chris Matthews? Chris Matthews, I think, yeah, he's cool. He's cool. I'm with you on that. He's all right. Mason Marler writes, Juan Williams. Yeah, I think Juan Williams would be great, but he works for Fox. So if Fox does a debate, and there was some debate as to whether the debates would be televised on Fox News, because the Democrats are like, man, screw you. And, I think that's a mistake. I think that you shouldn't just give up. If you're a Democrat and you running for president, or you're the Democrat Party, I don't think you should just give up on Fox News like that, because, you're doing the same thing that Republicans do with the black community. Like, we ain't going to support, so we ain't going to put nothing into it. That ain't really true. That's not really true. And again, Drop talks about this all the time. I have to be real about this. There is a real push that the Republicans are making to try to influence younger black voters and younger voters. By younger, I'm talking about people in their 20s, 30s. There's a real effort. You ever heard of Blexit? Candace Owens? Man, she's been traveling the country, connecting with potential black voters, all on the conservative tip. Blexit is black exit, because they want blacks to exit the Democrat Party. And we'll see, how effective these measures are going to be. We shall see. Sharp writes, Savannah leans slightly to the right, does she? Cincy Tigers writes, Lester Holt isn't assertive enough. We shall see. We'll find out tonight. Again, they're going to have a series. They got 5 people up there. And just looking at the moderators, I mean, who's going to be asking questions particular to African Americans? Like, is the question of reparations going to come up tonight? I I would be so shocked if the question of reparations does not come up tonight. So, like, what do you want to hear tonight? I mean, do you want to hear conversations about reparations? Do you want to hear conversations about what? The criminal justice system? What conversations, what talking points, what issues do you want to hear discussed? What's important to you? Like, specifically, what's important to you? Let me know. 513-873-7134. People say he's not assertive enough. Okay. I'm going to tell on you then. I'm going to tell Lester that's what you said. And then Lester's going to have a problem with you. He's going to deal with you. Because he is assertive. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's assertive enough or not. I know that he had that moment with Donald Trump that led to the Mueller report, where he told Donald Trump told him that the reason why he fired James Comey, and again, this is just more of a conversation. This says more about Donald Trump than it says about Lester Holt or anything he said or did. But then Donald Trump basically dropped that nugget, like, hey, I fired this dude because he was investigating me, which was very, very, very interesting. And it opened the door for further investigation. So we shall see. Again, I'm the only one person. Again, Ray makes a good point. Where in the hell is Joy Reid? Joy Reid has one of the best shows on MSNBC. She has one of the best shows on MSNBC. Why is she not there? So maybe she'll do like a fill-in or something like that. Or they'll catch her on the next one or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's a good point. It definitely stands out to me. Somebody writes, a big fan of Chris Matthews too. Been watching him for years. Yeah. Listen, me too, man. If you watch cable television and you watch those shows, Hardball, you definitely watch that. We definitely watch that. That's just me. Some local news here. UC freezes tuition for 5th year in a row. Currently, the annual rate is $11,000 for current students. The University of Cincinnati Board of Trustees voted to freeze undergraduate tuition for the 5th straight year, which means that in-state tuition will remain flat at $11,000 a year for current undergrads attending UC's campus. When I first stepped on UC's campus many, many years ago, right? It was mid-90s. And my tuition for the entire year was about, let me see here. I'm talking about the tuition. I'll never forget it. The tuition per quarter, and I think they had 3 or 4 quarters back then, was less than $1,000 for 12 credit hours. So you could take up to 4 to 5 classes and it cost you $1,000. It was just under $1,000, if my memory serves me correctly. So if they've got 4 quarters, that means you're paying about $4 or $5,000 a year. Now it's $11,000 a year. Now it's $11,000 per year. And that's if you just take, up to 15 credit hours. But that's great. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that because the cost of education is skyrocketing. Now, that's just your tuition. That's not eating. You're not eating any food for that. That's just your tuition. That's not tuition and you get an apartment and you can go down to the cafeteria, which I used to love, by the way. It was like a smorgasbord. Eat as much as you want. What big guy don't like that? Right? That doesn't include your transportation costs. Hope you got a car or you're on the bus, because Uber will take all of your money. Don't let it be surging. 15 one way, 20 one way, depending on the distance it surge. And that doesn't include, you got to eat, you got to live somewhere as well. And it don't include books. The cost of books can be $500 to $600 per. It can be higher than that. You can spend more money than that on books, man. You can spend almost $1,000 per quarter on books. It's such a scam right over there, man. It's such a scam. So get I'm happy to hear. That's great. That's great to hear because there's a you got 11 and that again, that's just tuition. That's not food. That $11,666 or $11,660 is for their 4 and 5 year degree programs. We're talking about the University of Cincinnati. Just think about how much that cost. And that's in state. If you're out of state, woo, tack on more dollars, more dollars. Gets real expensive real quick, real quick. But we were just talking about the rising costs of education, and that's what it costs. Mason Marler writes, how much for a bootleg cab? Man, I don't even know any bootleg cabs. There's still bootleg cabs out there because I see them when I go to the Kroger store. You need a ride? No, I don't need a ride. I don't know how these bootleg cabbies are surviving. I don't think they are surviving because, I shop at a lot of Krogers, but there's a Kroger in Coreyville that I shop at a lot, right? And I see the same, it'd be like older black dudes. I see these same dudes and they're all just sitting there. And so if you're sitting in Kroger, you're not making money. If you're a bootleg cabbie, you make money from driving people around, not sitting in Kroger. And I've been in there many times before. And the guys are like, need a ride, need a ride, need a ride. I'm like, dude, why don't you just get the Uber app? I mean, like, seriously, yo. Just go get the Uber app, bro. Get on Lyft. Okay, yeah. Are you going to be making money like the bootleg cabs used to make back in the day or the taxis? No, you're not. But you're going to make more money than sitting here waiting for some little old lady whose grandson forgot to pick her up. She don't know Uber. She don't know Lyft. I don't know the Uber or the Lyft. You know these sweet old ladies. And you help them with your groceries. You put them in the bag. You help them to her door. And then she gives you a $5 tip. This is what you're doing? You're going to make like $5 an hour. That is not a good look. I kid you not, man. I went to Kroger's one day, went up to the Kroger store, bought some stuff. Got back home, the wifey decided, oops, I forgot something. It was several hours later. I go right back up there, guy's still sitting in the same place, like 4 hours later. I'm thinking to myself, dude, get on Lyft. They'll get rides for you. Sitting here for damn ever. Fame Rasta in UC was on quarters then, and full-time tuition was like $3,500 for the year. Yep. That's exactly what it was. It was like something real small. It was super small. And now, 11 grand in the door. Now, for some people, that's nothing. 11 grand? I mean, it's still 11 grand, but they got it like that. So just tack on the cost. Like, what is tuition? I have to look up what room and board is, right? If you want to live in one of the campuses or the dorms. I do know that if you want to get like an off-campus apartment by yourself, man, you're looking at $1,000. You're looking at $1,000 a month. That's with no food. That's no food. Nobody's bringing you food over. Nobody's saying a damn thing to you. Come on in here, baby. You want this card? No, you can't have that card. All right, son. Let me do what I do. Huh? No, you can't have anything over here. Good to see you, bro. No, you can't have anything. That's Junior over there. Yeah, it's all about the baby. So, yeah, we do have to bring the basketball. That's right. I'm getting them ready. Gonna be the next Ja Moran out here. Junior. Yeah, we're gonna be doing our thing. So Tracy writes, tuition costs 11 grand. Chase freshman year at LaSalle. Ridiculous. 11 grand? What in the hell? Oh man. That's not with any room and board. Like you staying in again, an apartment near UC is gonna cost you somewhere around $1,000 if you want to live by yourself. Somewhere around there. Ain't no way around it. Unless you're living in a dump. But if you're living in a dump, you're still playing somewhere around 600-700. You're very close to $1,000 no matter what, unless you get a roommate. But again, I said if you're living by yourself, if you want to have the privilege of living by yourself, it's going to cost you because all the all the places that are like apartments and things like that that are close to UC, they know they got a great product. Students want to live close. And I'm talking about close is for the University of Cincinnati, close is like close ain't, let's just say this way, close is not close. You could be walking for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to the campus, and the tuition still gonna be sky high. Like way down to like the Gaslight District in Clifton, or man, they got apartments that's way down Martin Luther King, down there by the White Castles before you get on the 75 interstate, hitting. See you later, bud. So that's 11 G's. Put another 12,000 on there, because if you're doing 1,000, that's 12,000, 22,000. Now, what about food? What about internet? What about books? What about transportation? It's hitting out there. It is hitting. Get ready for it. She writes, we didn't pay that. Angela writes, the bootleg guy isn't trying to travel outside a 3 to 4 mile radius. I don't know. I never did bootleg. I just don't understand how you can make money doing bootleg. Like I know some people that do bootleg, but they've been doing bootleg for a long time, and they've got a roster of clients, primarily little old ladies that are they're not technically savvy, and or family members that are having some health issues or whatever. So they drive them around and boom, 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 boom. I even heard of a dude that had a DUI, lost his license, and then was, contracting with a guy to be his personal sort of like, I won't say, driver, but essentially that's what it was. So if you're doing bootlegging like that, matter of fact, I even got in an Uber about 2 years ago, black guy. He had business cards and everything. And he told me that if I ever needed a ride, just to call him. So he was using Uber to build up his own bootleg kind of thing. So you can do that. If you set up a roster of clients, people who you got 4 or 5 people every day, you got to take them back to work. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can make it work. Fame Rothstein writes, bootleg dude might have an issue where Uber or Lyft won't contract with them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right about that, Fame. You're right. Because Uber and Lyft do have some kind of standards, I guess, right? Where, you know, they do a review of you, they do a background check on you. So if you got some of your background, something like that, they might just say, nah, we don't want to take the risk, which I totally understand. Why take the risk? Why take the risk with these bums, right? All right, 513-873-7134. I'm going to take a quick pause. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back live. Quick intermission. Nathan Ivey with you, broadcasting live from my secret location, actually my home studio. All right, 513-873-7134. We've got a stream up on YouTube right now, very basic stream, and you can look inside the studio if you're voyeuristic. You know what I'm saying? If that's your thing, come on ahead. You can also read some of the live stream that's up on the screen as well. So we've been talking about numerous things. Yesterday, I got a chance to go over to the big meeting, and a big meeting today, or yesterday. It's always a series of big meetings in Cincinnati, and big stuff's getting done. And I really appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to interface with these folks. And Laura Mitchell, who is the African American female superintendent of the schools, she replaced Mary Ronan, who said some despicable things that she was leaving. She was getting most of the questions. She was, because that's what it was. It was billed as a family town hall, so she got the majority of the questions. And man, I wanted to get a question in so bad. There was just so many folks in front of me, and as they got a little closer to me, they ended up ending it. So either way, I was going to reach out to her personally, try to bring her on the show, because I want to get more of an understanding of what's going on with CPS. And in particular, my focus, at least for the next conversation, will be multiple things, but will be this bullying policy. Because I ain't happy with it. I need maybe my displeasure is because of my lack of knowledge. I'm just ignorant about what they're trying to do. But from what I gather, yeah, I ain't feeling it. They're going to be doing now more peer-to-peer counseling, meaning that they're going to have students talking with other students and about, bullying. And I want to know what the hell that means. Because... So a kid gets bullied. Is CPS gonna now? I need to know what that means exactly. Because if a kid gets bullied, and let's say that if you're being bullied, you don't want to talk to no damn students. You want the administrators, the adults, to do something about it. Correct? I mean, they're the ones with the power. They're creating heat maps. A heat map is sort of like they're gonna show you, like, in every school building, where geographically, in terms of the location inside of the school building, where the highest frequencies of bullying are happening. And I'm trying to figure out what in the freak is the usefulness in that. Like, and how are you going to compile this information? Who's compiling this information for CPS? Like, okay, well, we just got an allegation from bullying, and Johnny is saying that he was bullied, on the stairs next to the gymnasium. Oh, okay. Well, we got it again. It's happening on the stairs at the gymnasium. So that gives them an opportunity to say, hey, we got a problem here on the stairs at the gymnasium. Okay. All right. But if you're addressing these issues as they come in, then it should never be so hot, or there should never be that much frequency in any location anyway. Like, we don't know where the blind spots are. Let me tell you, hallways, bathrooms, anywhere where adults are not and paying attention, that's where it's going down. Ooh, we didn't need a heat map for that. I mean, this is real simple. More counselors are coming. I like that. I think that makes sense. They've got a new app, and that's great because everybody likes apps. My only thing about the new app is that they've already got a website, and the website wasn't responsive. You go to the website, CPS website, you report bullying, or you call their special number, and you don't get anybody. You get nothing. And I'll tell you, a white female came over to me yesterday, said, Nate, I heard your show. She heard the show I did maybe about a week or so ago when I went off about CPS and this awful policy. Or I won't say it's awful, just the questions I have about it. Okay, I'll be fair. The questions that I have about it. Because I might talk to Laura and she's like, okay, I get it now. That's possible. I'm not sure how likely it is, but it's possible. Anything's possible. And, struggling to understand some of this. I really, really am. An app. Okay. Well, great. I can order my pizza off an app. I can order a movie. Hell, I can order a massage. I can have somebody come to my house, on an app and give me a massage, give my wife a massage. So now they've got an app. That's great. That's great. I can get beer brought to my house. I can get groceries brought to my house. I can do all those things. You know what I'm saying? That's on an app. So I guess that's important. And my question would be, great, you're building an app specifically for this is great, but what is the focus on responsiveness? Responsiveness. That's my question as it relates to bullying. Because what we learned from Gabriel Tay is that the mother felt as if the school wasn't being responsive. I talked to another woman, I believe she was a white female, I never met her, and she had a child that attended Carson Elementary. I talked to her maybe it was a month or so after that happened, and she led a parent protest outside of Carson. And then they went over to the school board, raising hell about the fact that there was a lack of responsiveness. So that's the real issue. If there's a lack of responsiveness, like if you call Cincinnati Public Schools and they don't respond in a timely manner, and you've got an emergent situation, an app ain't gonna solve that. That's a human problem. That's a lack of being responsive in real time because it's not really your kids. Like, we'll get to it later. Or, So this white female came over to me and said, Nate, I heard your show. You was absolutely right. And then she started telling me about her own experiences. And she said, you're right. She said the district would try to retaliate on you. She told me they try to retaliate on me. So as I've told you, there are parents out there. I've talked with parents and I've talked with people that work with the district, and they're running around like, oh, don't say nothing. Don't do this, because they're afraid their kid is going to get some pushback. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to walk fearlessly. I get it. At the same time, when you're dealing with your children, that becomes another matter. I'll run through a hot lead for me, but I ain't going to do that with them. I ain't gonna do that with my kids with me. If it's just me, it is what it is. But with your children, that's a little something different. So this is a very sensitive matter, and I'm gonna keep my eyes on it and keep contact with it and report back to you and let you know what's going on, because we're getting ready for a new school year. And something's gonna have to be done. And this is by a school by school basis, right? But it's also because every school is different. Like, you might be listening like, Nate, we don't have those problems over at wherever your child attends school. And that's fine. I respect that. That's great. I love it. But I'm telling you what I know, what I've seen, what I've been told, what I hear. And, people will be surprised. I put it that way, just to put it very, very, just put a bow on it like that. People will be very, very surprised. Let me see. As for the John Doe Democrats, I will handicap the odds of potential petitioners. Okay, that'd be cool. Dale writes, good morning. Angela writes, I was talking with Ray about the need for us to create a black rideshare company. See the Montgomery boycott for logistics. Those folks didn't miss a beat getting to work or anywhere else. Love it. Why not? Yeah, why not? I love the idea. Good morning to you. If you want to share your thoughts, did I miss a call? Glenn, if I missed your call, call me. No, I didn't miss a call from Glenn. 513-873-7134. We talking local news here. I didn't talk about this, but here's the story. Metro bus driver hospitalized after Whitten Hill shooting. This goes back a couple days ago. I hadn't get a chance to talk about it, but a Metro bus driver was hospitalized back on Monday after a shooting near the Whitten Academy on Winnesty Avenue. The driver was not injured, but the bullet broke the glass. And apparently the police are saying that she was not the target. She was not the target of the intended target of the attack. Wasn't even her. They would look with somebody completely different. It's just scary, yo. Now, how the hell do you mistakenly shoot a damn bus? Maybe you shooting at your target and you miss it? Could that be it? You remember when comedian, his name is Chris Rock. Carl, I'll bring you on in just a second. Let me make this quick point. Remember when Chris Rock said that what we need is bullet control? Because if we made these bullets more, if we made these bullets more expensive, then people wouldn't, they would be sure about their targets. Maybe he's right about that. Maybe he's right about that. Maybe we should try that. Oh no, 513-873-7134. Yeah, maybe he's right about that. Let's go to the phones. Let me bring them in. Bring them in. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hung up. Call me back. I'll put you back on. Just going to you. Put me back on. Put it straight back on. We can get into it. Again, 513-873-7134. That's the number. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. That's it. What's up, C. Smith? C. Smith? Is that C. Smith and Wesson? That is hilarious. Well, it was a great post about 15 hours ago inside the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show page. Okay, now we're getting the call back in. I'll get to that in a second. See, good morning, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. It's Erica Dansby. How are you?
Hey, Erica Dansby, how you doing?
Good. It was good to see you and the wifey yesterday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was great to see you as well. How is everything?
Everything is wonderful. I wanted to call and chime in. I'm kind of running as usual this time of morning. Um, I wanted to talk about CYC this morning
Okay.
and the work that we're doing to support the school district. I was really glad to hear the superintendent yesterday and the work that she talked about. Not only is personal for me because it's all of my work coming to fruition over time, but it's also the work of CYC. And for your listeners who do not know, and rallying the troops as we go into a new school year, wanted to let everyone know that your junior high and senior high students should be looking for Cincinnati Youth Collaborative in your school building in the school year coming up. We are doing the work of the district as it relates to the three E's. We are helping young people get ready for um, graduation, first and foremost, but then also employment, enrollment, or enlistment. I don't know if everyone is aware, but there are ACT prep courses, there are scholarship application programs, there are FAFSA initiatives to help our kids get ready for again enrollment. There are in school employment readiness initiatives that we lead every single day. And I'm talking about in our high schools, Woodward, Withrow, Aiken, Euler, Riverview East. It would probably take too long to list them all. You can go to cycuyouth.org to get a complete listing. So we have enrollment opportunities, and the kids have to come, maybe to the counseling office to navigate it and figure it out. But we're there right now through the summer, all the way up until the beginning of the school year, through the end of the school year. And I just joined, but I'm not sure that people are familiar with the initiative. So we were there yesterday. We had a table, help folks get enrolled, that into our programs, that kind of thing. But we're standing at the ready to get every young person that we can involved and activated at their particular junior high and high school in the upcoming school year, beginning August 19th.
It sounds great. You said cycuyouth.org.
That's correct.
Okay. I just put it up there or put it out to the choppers as well so they can hit the link and check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. But it was really good. I thought the program was great. last night. There are a couple other things I would have added, but I thought it was wonderful.
I thought it was too, and
And
I wanted to get a question in so bad about that bullying policy. I just want to get clarification on it, and then offer some insights. As a parent who's had to deal with some of those issues in terms of how the district has responded. So, but I thought it was great.
yeah, it never goes away. And if you remember during my watch as a school board member and as the school board president, we dealt with some serious issues related to bullying, and I'm sure they're still there. I'm very much in tune still with the work of the board, and in fact, I work in the board office, and so I'm there still every day, and my work is directly connected. And I think it takes the community to deal with it. I didn't hear your earlier conversation, so I don't know if you're dealing with a particular issue or that this morning, but um, the district has its hands full, and I will say there are smart, capable people that are working on every single issue that I hear every single day. Like a lot of times, I'm how do you say that? Biting at the chew or bitten at the chew, whatever the term is, to try to answer questions for folks because people are literally working on every single initiative. Um, every single day. I think the district can do a better job, and I've always said this, even as a board member, can do a better job articulating the work that it's doing, and so maybe people don't know. Um, but there's a lot of work that's happening, a lot of good work that's happening, and still a lot of work yet to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Erica, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. That's true. You too.
Bye.
Absolutely. That's Erica Copeland Dansby, everybody, former CPS school board president, and I'm going to circle around and talk with her as well. Yeah, she told me a long time ago, Nate, I'm one of the choppers. I may not chime in, but I will be listening. I appreciate it. I appreciate the listens. Appreciate that. We just a little internet radio show connected to a startup media venture, Sin Digital Media, producing media for the Cincinnati area, and in particular for the urban core inside of the Cincinnati area here inside that I-275 loop. That's where I live. That is my focus. That is my focus. So very interesting. cycuyouth.org. I'm going to check them out. Yeah, we're sitting here talking about youth and youth development and resources, getting ready for college. cycuyouth.org. I know they do great work. I already know it. But back to what I was about to get into. There's a post inside of the Friends page posted by C. Smith. 1 in 2 black men are making it to middle class. This is from CNN. Here's the title: Black men are succeeding in America. Is that right? Let me click on this and see what's popping. What's going on here? It's written by Bradford Wilcox, Wendy Wang, and Ronald Mincy. And when you go straight to the link, they've got a cool little graph up, all colorful and everything. Share of poverty among men by race/ethnicity, 1960 to 2016. In recent years, much of the racial news in America has been sobering, if not depressing. Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Ferguson, Baltimore, and Charlottesville. Okay? Despite a portrait of race relations that often highlights the negative, especially regarding black men, many Americans, according to a 2006 study by the Washington Post, Kaiser Family Foundation, and Harvard University, believe that crime, unemployment, and poverty are endemic among African American men. But here's the truth: that most black men will not be incarcerated or not unemployed and are not poor, even if black men are more likely than other men to experience these outcomes. Really? Really? A new report, Black Men Making It in America, spotlights 2 pieces of particular good news about the economic well-being of black men. First, the share of black men in poverty has fallen from 41% in 1960 to 18% today, according to this study. Second, and more importantly, the share of black men in the middle class or upper class as measured by their family income has risen from 38% in 1960 to 57% today. In other words, about 1 in 2 black men in America have reached the middle class or higher. Let me post a link for you. Hold on, I'm gonna copy and post this or copy and paste this inside. Matter of fact, I wonder. Okay, let's try something a little different here. I wonder if I can post it. No, I'm gonna post it inside the chop shop for sure. I'm not going to abandon the chop shop at all. Let me see here. Here it is. Observations from the big meeting. So I'm going to put it inside of the audio stream, but let me double check because we're up on YouTube right now. There it is. There it is. If you want to check out the link for yourself, I just posted a few seconds ago. Let me go over to YouTube and see if I can post it on the YouTube stream as well. And you can check that out. Let me see if that's possible. And I want you to check this out. Let me see here. Can I post this? Yes, I can. So I just pasted it on YouTube as well. What's up, C. Taylor, Robin, Erica, Tanika, Tracy? Yeah, appreciate everybody following that YouTube stream. And I'm going to figure out a way to try to put all of the chat on one stream, and then I'm going to put it up on the stream so you can actually read the chat while you view me as well, okay? Which I think will add another layer of interactivity so you can actually read the chat from all the different platforms. Because when we go live, well, this morning we're going live on Periscope. I ran into a listener, longtime listener yesterday at the event. She says she watches the show on Periscope. So, and there's chat all over the place. So I'm going to try to bring it all into one stream for me so I can make sure I read everybody's chat. I don't want to be all over the place and miss your comments. Again, if you're a YouTube person, go over to YouTube right now and you can follow the stream. We're just getting started. Mike Jones writes, did she vote for FC Cincinnati when she was on the school board? That's a question mark. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry I didn't read that, Mike. I would have definitely asked. Ray writes, reactive decision to ongoing unresolved issues. Miss D writes, I think she means chomping at the bit. I think she meant that as well. Drop writes, good morning, Choppers. Tonight is the first desperate Democrats debate on the NBC network. Let the circus begin. I will be taking a shot of tequila every time they say the African-American voter, and I will take a puff of the good stuff every time I hear reparations. Can't wait. Hashtag Black Votes Matter. Black votes do matter. Taylor writes, get those likes up on YouTube and monetize the movement. Listen, that's where we're going. Thank you so much, Taylor. TNT writes, good morning. Drop writes, I told you, the lamestream media has a left wing, a.k.a. Democrat agenda. Those black success stories are too close to the GOP narrative. What do you have to lose? Well, I don't think that they are too close to the GOP narrative. In fact, it's the opposite. The GOP narrative during the last election for Donald Trump was that black people are living in shithole communities. You're already at the bottom of the barrel. What do you have to lose? Well, if you believe these numbers from CNN, and I'm not saying I take them as gospel, I have to look at the methodology and how they actually put it all together and really look at it. But let's say for the sake of argument that it's true. Well, that means that black men and black people had a lot to lose. That's what it means. King Koblar writes, somebody say puff? Look at you. Yes, somebody said puff. It was drop. Drop, no matter what happens, you're going to try to find a way to turn it into some kind of plot. The Democrats are against you. What? It's just, no matter what, that's what he's going to try to do. Yes, that's what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Somebody asks, watch party on Facebook or in person? Okay, we got a few people might be interested. Appreciate that. Charles, whatever you posted 14 hours ago did not. It says that the video too must be too sensitive. Diamond Sade. I'm not sure. Again, I didn't get a chance to see it. Congressman Duncan Hunter used campaign money to fund extramarital affairs. Of course he did. New report shows Greater Cincinnati's affordable housing crisis is more than just rental costs. That was posted by Jesse. Great post, Jesse. Let me check on this. This is reported by WCPO and Lucy May. What's up, Lucy May? Sianta Stewart grew up, if I'm pronouncing his first name wrong, my apologies. I got a public education. Grew up in Bond Hill and now operates a business just a couple doors down from his house where his mother and grandmother live. As hard as he's working to bring jobs and black-owned businesses back to the neighborhood he loves, he can't help but worry. He's worried new development will make it harder for longtime Bond Hill residents like him to invest in the community if the homes their parents and grandparents own become unaffordable, he said. A new report called Stories of the Housing Crisis in Cincinnati, the urgent need for a better path forward, found lots of other residents in predominantly African-American communities share his concern, which of course we know. Residents fear new development and investment will push them out of the neighborhoods they love and away from family members and social networks they rely upon. This is from Dunny Isaacson, founder and CEO of Cohere, which produced the report. See, now, as I understand it, Dunny Isaacson and myself, we are Facebook friends. And I know that he listens to the show. So I'm going to reach out to Dunny to see if he'll come on and talk about the report. I want to get a copy of it so we can kind of break it down. All right? I want to hear more. Quote, that's a sense if you just look at economic models, people will move to where housing is more affordable. So the cost of living is going up across the county. And black people that have lived in these neighborhoods for a long time feel like they're going to be priced out. Where we heard that before. What can be done to change it? Here are a few of the report's key findings. Displacement often means being priced out of an entire neighborhood. African-American residents are worried about cultural displacement as much as economic displacement. They fear the neighborhoods they now call home will be redeveloped into places they don't recognize and where they won't feel welcome. 3, what is good for one group of residents can be bad for another. For example, building wealth for homeowners can push rental prices too high for their low-income neighbors. And then 4, all the investment is making a ton of money for developers, and residents want to be a part of the financial gains. So far, they feel they've been left behind. Now, I have been saying this since as long as I can remember. And I've said this privately. I've said this to stakeholders in meetings behind closed doors. I've said this in public. I've said it on the air. Cincinnati's got a lot going on for itself. There's a renaissance. The question is, how do we make sure that everybody gets to enjoy it? That's the question. You got a lot of neighborhoods that they're on a come up. How do we make sure that the people that live there, and in many cases in some of these neighborhoods, we're talking about black folks, African Americans, how do we make sure that they don't get displaced? They don't get pushed out? Because we see a lot of that. So, I mean, I think any new information can be good. Let me see. For example, some landlords charge non-refundable application fees as high as $50 to $100 and reject potential renters with little or no explanation. How long have we been saying that we need a renter's bill of rights? We need a renter's bill of rights. I know that there's members of city council when this is on their plate because I've talked to them. They've told me this. We need a renter's bill of rights. Okay? A renter's bill of rights. So how do we accomplish these goals? How do we push this forward? I got a few ideas. One, I think we should support people that have great efforts. Two, I think that we need to arm ourselves with the information actually, that would be one. Armor ourselves with the information so we know what we're talking about. So we got an accurate assessment of what the problem is and what some of the possible solutions are. Have you ever tried to, I've done that before where you go and you're going to rent a place and they got an application fee and it's non-refundable. Well, if $50 ain't a thing for you, it's like, okay, $50, no big deal. But how many people think that those application fees are a way of trying to weed out certain people? And it's all arbitrary. None of it is obligatory. Like, legally you have to do this. It's all arbitrary. It's like, it's been a while, but I remember when we first got married, going through the rental process and all that kind of stuff. We're looking for places before we decided we want to, nail down some roots. And, you go in there and it's like, one of the first questions you have is, do you have an application fee? Yep. How much is it? And I've heard 35, 25. I've even been in situations where people waive the rental fee. Like, you seem like good people. People have told me that before. Like, y'all seem like a good family. Like, way before little Buddha was even born, we were going to rent a place over in Evanston. We was going to rent a house. And it was owned by an older black woman. She was in the church and everything. Kept asking me what church I go to. I'm like, oh, gosh. And we ultimately didn't get the place because she liked us. And that's really what it comes down to. Do these renters like you? Do you have an eviction on your record? Like I said, I don't think that an eviction on your record should mar you, stop you, prohibit you, stop you cold in your tracks from getting a place. I don't believe that. And I want to introduce another concept that's really coming back in California, most notably, and that is the idea of rent control. The government, local government controlling the rent so that, property owners just can't price gouge you. I want to reach out to Mr. Stewart and see if I can't make a connection with him. Does anybody know him? Seaonta Stewart. I'm going to reach out to him and I want to hear his story directly. That's a real concern in the community, man. That's a real concern. Would you like to see this? Jump inside the Friends page. You can read the article. Jump inside the Friends page. You can check out the article there. I would say that this is spot on. This is spot on. Non-negotiable application fee, $100. Have you ever has anybody ever hit you with a $100 application fee? What that means is that you give them $100 just so they'll even submit and even consider your application. If they decide not to take your application, they keep the money. That's a hustle in and of itself. You could just hustle people with application fees. You could just put a place on the market, $25 per application fee. Damn it, you'll make your rent just taking applications in if it's a nice place. Man, you get 10 people that say, look, I'm looking for a place. Let's say you got a ritzy condo in one of the real cool places in Cincinnati. So it's justifiable to ask for a $50 application fee. Let's say you give yourself a 2 or 3 month window and runway, should I say, before you're really gonna, have the place ready. You're just taking in money all that time. You're just taking in cash. And for those that have got that kind of disposable income, it's all good. We shall see. Sharp writes, take pictures of your old neighborhood because the wrecking ball is here. Mason Mahler writes, Nate, can you ask Drip Drip, where is the diversity in the Republican Party? Hashtag African American over there. Drip Drip. Who the hell is Drip Drip? Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the show.
What up, though, Nate?
What's up with you?
A little bit of everything. Tried to call you yesterday, but you wouldn't take my call, bro. You said you was going to come back to me. Like, oh, call, I'm going to come right back to you. But that caller ID, the worst thing you ever had. It's all good, though. I'm still going to keep banging. In lieu of your current topic, yeah, man, I just got a place for my father probably about 6-7 months ago or whatever. And, yeah, they was charging $80 and $100 application fee.
Where was this at?
Yeah, man, bruh, all over the city. It was some nice places, but it And one other thing I gotta add. Man, they are remodeling these new buildings. Have you seen these new developments here, there, and here? And they look really, 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 really nice in the inside. But they charging them an arm and a leg for a really nice cube. It's really small. I mean, really, really tiny. I moved my dad to the west side of town, and he got a really nice apartment, 2-bedroom, 2 full baths, for less than what they was charging for they. It ain't even marble floors. You know that new paint they put on the floor to make it look like marble? You know their biggest highlight was you can call your thermostat from your phone. They wanted $1,000 for that cube, man. It was high. It was ridiculous. Not to mention the $100 application fee. So you make a good point. It's a good side hustle. It's a damn good side hustle, especially if you got a really, really, really big complex and mass people coming in and giving you $180, $50, $25 a pop. You making money off of that alone.
Man, you making a bag off of that alone. Especially if you got multiple units. I mean, think about this. Let's say you got 10 units and you see 5 people
10.
a month. Let's just say you got 10, just because it's easy to calculate. You got 10 units. You got 5 open units. You asking for a $100 fee per unit. You definitely gonna see 5 people a month.
Yeah,
you raking it in.
Yeah, and 4 towers, right? The apartment complex, 4 towers on Queen City.
I'm trying to visualize it. I can't visualize.
Going up the hill before you get to the top of the hill. It's a giant complex
on the left?
Off on your left.
On the left. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it used to be called 4 Towers. Now it's Vantage, whatever. And that's a really huge property. That was one of the places they charging you $80 to $100 for application fee. I paid it, but damn. Anyway, and we still didn't take the apartment. They kept the money. Sure enough. Let's move on, bro. I'm listening to your conversation of reparations and ADOS, and it's real funny, like people like you, people like Glenn, people like Ken, living the white man's dream, Anderson, people like Scotty the Hottie, Sweetmouth Johnson, who would never push it, but you want to talk about it. You want to get into this intellectual conversation about some shit you wouldn't even support.
Well,
not even in speech.
Wait. You just contradicted yourself. So you just said you won't do it even in speech, but you talk about it. That's a contradiction.
No, bruh. That's after the fact. It's already been done that you're talking about. That's after chess, bruh. That's after the game has been played.
What?
That's that sideline bullshit. Yeah. You're talking about it after the fact. You did not push it, like I said. Who would not push this agenda?
Wait. Have we gotten reparations yet?
You
No.
Negroes still don't have a black agenda.
Hold on. Wait. You don't make no sense, bro. And when you don't make sense, we always gonna be in friction. As I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but reparations has not been passed, and there's no plans right now to disperse any reparations fund. So it's not after the fact. It's in real time. The conversation's being had right now.
Hear what I said, bruh. You answering shit in your head, but you're not answering what I said.
No, I'm just calling out your contradictions. That's what I'm doing.
That's not a contradiction because you're answering what's in your head and not what I said.
You just said.
I said
now maybe what's in your head, you having some difficulties getting it out. But that's what you just said. So if you want to explain it, go right ahead.
Again, I said people like you who never push the agenda. You've been on the radio forever, bruh. You wasn't pushing that. And whenever the conversation came up, you was anti-it. That's what I said.
That's a damn
I ain't talking about that shit you talk about after people.
Hold on. That's a damn lie. You ain't never heard me be anti-reparations, ever. That ain't true. Now, you can have your opinion about it, but you can't have your own facts. That's not true at all.
You a damn lie, Nate.
Use a damn lie.
This is the first time in the history of the conversation of reparations, you said anything like this shit you saying now. This is the first time.
So what am I saying now?
When you was at a radio station and had
Hold on, sir. Hold on. So now I'm gonna have to pull you all the way out here, and we're gonna have to unpack this. What am I saying now about reparations?
A whole last conversation about how we need it, how we should have it. The people, you still don't even know Attorney Tone, Anthony. You still ain't figured out. Did you ever go look at Tone Talk?
Don't change the conversation, sir. I asked you, what am I saying different now? And so what you just said is now I'm talking about it. I've always talked about it. I've always supported it. I've always thought it was a good idea for black people, as do most black people with common sense.
Johnny come lately, fair weather ass fan, bruh. You a Johnny come lately, fair weather ass fan. You wasn't pushing this for the last 10, 15 years. Hell, you just really getting on the bandwagon only because of Tone Talk and AWS caught some traction. And if it wasn't for them brothers and that sister, you still wouldn't be saying shit. So you can say that bullshit for those listeners who come on here every day climbing in churches, climbing in voting rings. Because it's full of shit, bruh.
No, you full of shit. But let's move on.
No, you full of shit. Because I've been banging reparations.
No, you full of shit. You full of shit. Now listen, just like you've been talking to me, I've been talking to you. You ain't been pushing no reparations. You just start talking about it with Tone Talks. What are you talking about? Who you think you're talking to? What? You sound stupid. And again, what I'll say is this. You talking about it is the same as me talking about it. It's talk. So we in the same boat, bruh. You've been talking about it, and now I'm talking about it. Same difference.
I've been talking about it beforehand.
You wasn't talking about no damn reparations because you was too caught up talking about the individual black hosts. That's your number one conversation. You don't be talking about no reparations. Your number one conversation over the years has been how you're blacker than the black host and talking about how you don't vote. Who you think you're talking to, man? Stop that bullshit from them people you got in the background giggling at your corny ass jokes. If you want to be real about it.
Been listening, but you have been listening to that white politician, though, right? You've been listening to him. But what I say goes right out your ass.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what white politician you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I just told you what I heard from you. All I've heard from you over the last couple of years is telling me why you don't vote, and you talking a whole bunch of BS to black talk show hosts. I ain't heard you talk about nothing else. I ain't heard you talk about reparations no more than anybody else. Until recently, that's what I've heard. Now, what you had in your heart, I can't read. What you was thinking, I don't read minds. All I know is what I've heard from you. And the vast majority of conversations I've either heard you have or I've had with you always start and end with the same way. You don't vote. You ain't said nothing about reparations until recently. You stop projecting, man.
You go out of your mind, bro.
No, I'm not out of...
Hey, go ask your leaders over at the buzz.
I don't need to ask my leaders over the buzz. I talk to you myself. I'm telling you what I've heard. Since I've been doing this show, I ain't heard you talk about until recently. The majority of what you call in and talk about be some bullshit about how you don't vote and about how you think you blacker than everybody and you love Africa, even though you ain't been there. You ain't been talking about reparations till recently. And what I would say to you is this, brother, is that there's a big difference between talking about reparations and doing something about reparations. I don't care. So you've been talking about it. Let's say what you said is true. So what? What's that mean? I'm glad you can talk about it. But that's not my experience. You know, that, and I'm not going to let you mischaracterize me. I know who I am. You ain't never heard me say nothing negative about reparations because intellectually it don't make sense. They don't even jive. Oh, okay, great. Great. Appreciate that. Somebody just sent me do you know him? If you do, connect me to him. I'd love to talk to the brother. I want to get his specific thoughts about that. But that's Black Lion. Listen, Black Lion, what you just did this morning is what you normally do. You don't be busting no grip on no reparations. Because if you have, obviously it hasn't had a big impact because we don't have them yet. The hell is you talking about? You need to think before, you need to open your mind before you call into this show because you already know I ain't going to have it. Simple as that. 513-873-7134. And to be honest with you, I don't really give a damn what you think about what I think about reparations. Who gives a damn? Just go do what you need to do about it. If you feel so strongly about it, then go do something about it. Now, I know that the NAACP is pushing a reparations bill. It's not called reparations. It's called something else. You might want to get behind that or some other effort. But again, talking about it, then we in the same boat. You bring it up, we talk about it, we both talked about it, the conversation ends, period. Now, the reason why the nation is talking about it is because of ADOS. And now you got the political system that's talking about it as well. So of course it's going to be a big of a conversation, period. But that line is available, 513-873-7134. You didn't open your mouth. You didn't open your mind before you open your mouth. You need to think a little bit more, bro. Or not. See here. Drop writes, when cost of living goes up, that means the economy is booming, full employment, jobs, jobs, jobs. I'm not sure if that's the point. You're talking about the brother from the article I just read here in Cincinnati drop? Maybe. You know, here you are trying to get Trump some kind of backhanded compliment. Maybe. I think the real point of that article was that, like I said, like I read, I mean, there's black people in Cincinnati who feel like they're being priced out of their neighborhoods. And they feel like they're being pushed out of what was familiar to them. You know, how they grew up, what they knew, what they enjoy, where they want to be. And as I said from day one, that there's a renaissance happening in Cincinnati. There's a renaissance. Every neighborhood, you got development. Brand new, beautiful apartments and condos, breweries, shops, all kinds of things are happening in the city of Cincinnati. But are people being forgotten? Are people being left behind? You know, that's what really matters. And the answer is absolutely yes, it is. And there's people on city council that know it. Tamaya Denard, who is an African-American member of city council, and she gets a lot of hate for a lot of different reasons from small-minded people. And they know who they are. Very small-minded individuals have a problem with her. On her Facebook page, she just posted something about what was happening with city council. Let me read this to you. Thought it was very interesting. And she talked about the development deals that were coming through city council. And, you know, which of the development deals or the percentage of the development deals that, you know, they're getting tax abatements that also have, you know, some type of, I won't say set aside, but some type of acknowledgement that we need some, you know, some affordable housing as well. So let me read this to you directly. She wrote this, when did she write this? She wrote this 21 hours ago. She's already gotten a whole bunch of shares, a whole bunch of likes. This is Councilwoman Tamaya Denard. Yesterday was a tough day at City Hall. As a council, we approved quite a few deals that offered 0 units of affordable housing, but asked for 100% tax abatements. Tax abatements mean that someone doesn't pay taxes for a certain period of time. Yesterday, I voted no on every residential deal that offered an abatement with no affordable units. Now, somebody asked me, like, Nate, if you put together a political action committee, what type of candidates would you support? That's the kind of candidate I would support. You know, I appreciate that. Despite what anybody else did on city council, sometimes you got to have principles. And city council has the ability to set the tone for what type of city that we want to live in. They have the ability, they have influence over that. Now, it's a lot of them, it's 9 of them and a mayor. But still, I mean, that's what they're charged with. But let me continue here. I support plenty of development deals. I understand we need to grow our population. I want people to move to Cincinnati. I'm not anti-development. I'm not anti-growth. Now, what's funny and I think is interesting is that she has to add that caveat. I'm not anti-development. I'm not anti-growth. And who would think that she is? Who would ever think that she is just simply because she's saying, look, I want to make sure that we've got affordable housing in some of these new developments, and you're asking the taxpayers to pay no taxes. I mean, to get no taxes from you. And see, to me, that's a key core part of the problem. And what she said right there is related to what I read in that article and from what Cohere has now reporting with their new report about, you know, the state of black people in Cincinnati and, you know, how they're feeling about where they live and the prospects of living in a neighborhood that you actually want to live in and things like that. But we got John from Princeton on the line. Hold on, John. I'm gonna come straight to you, but I want to finish this article first. She continues, a robust neighborhood has market rate and affordable housing. We have a distorted understanding of affordability on Cincinnati City Council. If a developer doesn't want to build affordable housing, that is totally okay. They just shouldn't get a handout from Cincinnati. How many people agree with that? If you want to do a development with no affordable housing, okay, we get it. You just don't get 100% tax abatement. That seems like a fair uh, deal to me. But the problem is this. The problem is you got people on city council that's caught up with shiny buildings. You got members of city council that's caught up with building something shiny and new, and not necessarily the overall impact that building that shiny new building is going to have in a community. So if you're a politician, after you get off city council, when you're on city council, you go before the voters, you want to be able to take a picture in front of something shiny and new that was built while you was on city council. That's what it comes down to. You want to stay there, oh, look what we did. Oh, development. Oh, look at these new buildings. Great. But what's the other side of this? What's the cost of it? And to me, I see Tamaya Denard is trying to think a little bit deeper than that. She writes, rent in Cincinnati is high as hell. We can't keep hoping someone creates affordable housing. We have to be intentional. Our office will create a policy this summer that addresses this. Hashtag fairness, hashtag economic justice. Well, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see that, actually. I'll be looking forward to that. Reach out to Tamaya Denard and have a conversation with her about that, because I think that's a really excellent point. I mean, you want to come to city council and get 100% tax abatements just so you can go back. Then the politicians can run back and say, look at this shiny new building. Oh, look what we've been building. Yes, true. But again, you know, what kind of deal is that? What kind of deal maker does it take to say we're going to give you 100% of everything you do? Everything you want, you want 100%, you got it. That don't take a whole lot of deal making. That's easy. You come to city council, we're going to give you everything you want, and then you're going to go build it with your own money. Cool. Development. Development? No. No. I don't think so. But what do you think? Like I said, we got John from Princeton, New Jersey on the line. Let me go straight to the line. Hey, good morning, John. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world, and yes, those shoppers. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Before we get into your tax abatement or city council and Mr. Mars, the woman that you're having possibly to come on to talk about these issues and the cozy little deals, I call it the cozy little deals that the developer and the city gets. Hey, it's about money and it's about development. Developers. We'll get into that in a second. I'm sure everybody's so upset to see this whole photograph of the father and the child on the shores, dead as the kid's arm is holding over the father, dead. And everybody's up in arms of immigration. What the Republicans are doing, what the Democrats are doing, stop it. It's all about immigration and fixing the immigration bill on both sides of the aisle. Neither Republican nor Democrat choose to do nothing about immigration. This has been going on, this around the corner merry-go-round with the immigration, and nothing has been done, and nothing's going to be done under the foolishness of the rat in the White House, as well as the Congress and the Senate. They all play games. I've said to you, Mr. Nathan Ivey, many times, and I'll keep saying it, it's easy to attack people of color. Yes, the Mexicans or Haitians or Africans that are coming here, stop them from coming here. But nobody talks about the immigrants that come through every major airport in the country. And they don't look like Mexicans. They don't look like Haitians. Who do they look like? Europeans. You heard what Trump says. I welcome the Swedish people here. Yeah, Swedish women. But you don't go after those Europeans. And part of the issues with the immigration bill, if you're going to go after people of color, you got to go after those immigrants that come here through our major airport, and they feed off the system. Welfare, the kids go to school for free, housing, car, everything across the board. Nobody says nothing. Republicans and Democrats say nothing. Let's be honest about it, Chopper. Barack Obama did it too, yes. He snuck immigrants, I forgot what country that was, in the state of New Jersey or Pennsylvania. They got a big city out there where a whole bunch of them that Barack Obama snuck in here. Oh, the media didn't talk about it. Oh, you didn't know about it. Well, John from Princeton is telling you about it. So the immigration bill will be a merry-go-round back and forth, and it'll be a hotbed issue on tonight's debate, as well as tomorrow night. Yes, John will be watching it very closely. I don't look for them to say anything but recycle speeches. This is a long way between now and next year. And that immigration bill will be a hot butt topic tonight and tomorrow. And that photograph of that father and son dead there, they all will give you recycled speeches and look to please you. But as I stated, choppers, half of those candidates between now and September of next year, they won't even be there. They're all vying for position, vying for maybe a seat at the table, whoever the nomination of the Democrat Party, if the Democrats do win. We don't know that. It's a big possibility. The Trumpster may walk right back into the White House. Okay, hold on a second. Don't get yourself all to a ruffle, everybody. It's a long way between now and then. All right, let's end with this. You know, you were talking about the city council and the cozy deals behind the scenes, and maybe when you get this person that's going to come on and speak to you, it's all about money and developers and the cozy deals that the city council is possibly telling the city and not telling you. It comes down to one thing, choppers. They're running people of color out of these cities, getting them out. The white boys want the cities. Let them have it. The cities are in bad shape anyway. Wait till a big storm or flood come through there, and you'll see the infrastructure. Every president over 50 years talked about, I'm going to do something about the infrastructure. Stop it. You're not doing nothing. Barack Obama said that was his campaign trail when he talked about he's going to do something about the infrastructure. Did he do anything? No, he's busy fooling around with the healthcare plan. Another day, another time. So now Trumpster comes in. His campaign trail, same thing. Issue, I'm going to deal with the infrastructure. Has he done with the infrastructure? No. These cities, every major city has problems with the infrastructure. Bridges, highways. All they do is put a Band-Aid on the problem, but they don't fix it. The last time this country was worked on with the infrastructure system was Roosevelt. That's 60 years ago, and nobody's touched it. So these cities are in bad shape as much as your city council and your elected officials are telling you. They're not telling you the real truth. The developers got the money. They cut the deal with the mayor and the city council, and some have the guts to stand up and tell you the truth, and some won't tell you the truth of what goes on. So I'm going to listen to this next guest that you're going to have come on. That's going to come on and talk about the cozy little deals that the city council and the mayor give these developers. It's all about the money. So people in Cincinnati, you can scream and yell and say, they're pushing us out of the city. Get the hell out of there. It's in bad shape anyway. Go out the city and the suburbs, higher mountains, because when things go bad, you'll wish you were up in the mountains. That's the way to be, because the land is cheap, houses are there. That's where you should be, not try to be in the city where you're stacked on top of each other. The white boys want to go there, let them go. It's in bad shape anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'd like to hear your comments.
Well, no comments, man. I mean, that's just straight up opinion. That's it, man. That's it.
Well, I welcome when your guest comes on, that city council person, for her to comment
you talking
on some
about
of the
Tamaya?
things that I brought up.
Well, just to be clear, I don't have her scheduled for today. I haven't confirmed that. I'm going to reach out to her. We've been having conversations and talking about getting back together and doing some things. But I'm going to reach out to her and see if she can come on and speak for herself. I was reading from her Facebook page, but the one thing I like about Tamaya is she's consistent. She's consistent. She's the same. In terms of her approach and her mentality is the same before and now that she's on city council as an elected official. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like her because of things she said and done. And, I think she needs to be supported. 100%.
Well, yes. And that's the problem. We the people control that city, control this state, control the country. But we the people allow these politicians to do what they want. Occasionally, Ms. Tamaya and several council people will stand up and tell the people the truth, because that's what it's all about. The people elect you to go in there and serve the people. But the politicians got it twisted. They want us to have it twisted that they're in control, not you. But it's all about the people. But the people are not exercising their rights when you put these candidates in office. You let them get away with the foolishness, and then you complain 4 years later, oh, I put that person in there. They didn't do nothing for me. Well, did you go to the city council meeting? Did you sit down with that council person when you had a chance to sit him or her down eyeball to eyeball and question them what they're supposed to be doing, what you elected them for? No, you didn't do it. You didn't have time. You're busy playing softball, basketball, football. You're busy on the internet playing with Facebook. And that's what they want you to do. Get you
Well,
distracted so you don't see the foolishness that they're doing.
well, I think yeah, that's probably accurate for some people, but I think that the real hard work becomes with being an educated voter. You like educating yourself about what's going on and strategically voting your best interest. It might be in a particular race that there's a multitude of issues, or it might just be one. But I think that's a very, very, very important part of holding them accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not voting for or against candidates and issues, then there's one part of the whole strategy, a very important part of the strategy that, is being lost. It's just like if you were in a fight with somebody, like a war, and they send you in a battle, but you ain't willing to shoot nobody. You'll yell at them. You'll yell at them something fierce. You give them a mean side eye, but you ain't really ready to go further than that. Well, there's only it's only so much you're going to get done with that kind of approach. Same thing with the whole, democratic process. That's how I look at it.
The bright light of this election that I sense going into next year, the bright look that I sense is that midterm election last year, where that progressive young party and the women of vote came roaring into the Congress and the Senate, making changes, getting rid of the old guard on the Republican and the Democrats, some of them. And there's still more changes that have to be made. And it's continually, people want to see change. They're tired of the old guard system, Republicans and Democrats that are playing games, getting the corporate money under the table. Nothing gets done, the bickering and fighting. It's got to change. But, it doesn't really matter to me. Even if you get a Democrat, if a Democrat comes into the presidency, if they don't control the House and the Senate, nothing will get done, and then we'll have 4 years of buffoonery again. We don't know how great Barack Obama possibly would have been if he had a control of the House and the Senate for those 8 years, and he didn't. So the Republicans, made it clear. Well, they thought they was going to make him a one-term. Well, he didn't become a one-term. He became a two-term, but he still didn't control the House and the Senate. So we don't know how good he was. But what disturbed me about Barack Obama is he was silent about our issues. He could have spoke out, even though he didn't have control. He could have screamed loud and clear why he couldn't get nothing done because the Congress and the Senate was controlled by Republicans, and they were stopping him from doing a lot of things. Okay, yeah, he threw you little crumbs every now and then to keep you quiet, but Barack Obama was very quiet. And now some of those people that denounced me and told me to shut up 8 years ago, I'm hearing them scream about Barack Obama loud and clear. But it's too late because Barack Obama's off into the sunset making millions of dollars. You think he gives a damn about you? He's not in the presidency. You got the rat in there. And I love it that the rat is in there running his mouth because he tells on both of them, Republicans and Democrats. Yes, I don't like him in there, but I like it when he runs his mouth. Let the Trumpster run his mouth because he tells what the system is all about, which is what we all knew about, corrupt. So let's wait and see how this goes between now and next year. And hopefully, whoever you get to come on the airway with your city council, hopefully you can nail that person and make them answer questions. What's going on with this development deals going on? Why are they pushing people of color out of the city? Out because it's all about the money. I see now, if this thing doesn't change, Zorro will rise again. Have a nice day.
Rise again. Thanks for the call. Rise again. He never stopped. Quit acting like Zorro. Listen, is John portraying Zorro or is Zorro portraying John? Who's the real person there? Somebody tell me. People have commented about my conversation with Black Lion. See here. No, I didn't get emotional. I got offended. It's two different things. Yeah, I know who I am and what I do, and I ain't gonna let him or anybody else try to define me. You already know. I'm gonna tell you. No, kid, take that somewhere else. My record stands for itself. I know who I am, and I don't care what you do. If you have been for reparations since the day you was born, great, great. It's great for you. But you're gonna get a different feeling over here. And then what happens is I don't want to get back into a back and forth about who's black. Oh no, I'm blacker than you. Oh no, that's a ultimately ridiculous argument that goes nowhere. Because how do you prove that? So, like I said, you got to open your mind before you open your mouth over here. Simple as that. Real simple. Let me see. Briary Flo writes, Nate is on one this morning. Let the record reflect that Nathan is the one getting emotional on the call. Pay attention. No, I'm just letting people know. Just letting them know. You can call it emotional. You call it whatever you want to call it. It makes no difference to me. I'm just letting you know. Take that shit somewhere else. Because if you really care about black people, get out here and do something for black people. Get out here and move the needle. And like I said, if you're talking about reparations and you call in, and I'm talking about reparations, I'm doing a show. We in the same boat. We both talking about it. Ain't no difference. There's no difference. All these petty conversations about who's blacker and this is ridiculous. It's a waste of time in our community. It really is. Stupid. Somebody writes, never thought about it like that. The application hustle. Yeah. Just think about that. You know what I'm saying? $100 an application. All you need is everybody's rent is different. You don't need a whole lot, but just think about that. If you got 10 units in some pricey condo, let's say you're over in, they got some brand new apartments and condos over in on Auburn Avenue. They just built them. They just completed. Man, it looks like they might have 300 units over there. Could you imagine having 300 units? And with every unit, you get an average of 5 applications. They all paying you $100. Only one person is going to get it, but you still keep the money. Just do the math on that. Do the math on that. You're talking about an incredible hustle. Council should change those loopholes. See, council could change it. But what I've been told and what I've observed is that the developers, right? The developers in Cincinnati have too much power. And the developers get what they want. So what you're hearing from, or what you're reading from what I read to you, so you heard it, or perhaps you saw it yourself, her comments, if you're in Cincinnati and those kind of circles. So what you're reading is that is at least one person is putting up a resistance. They're saying, we're not just going to open the doors and give developers everything they want. I've heard, who else have I heard talk about that? I've heard in those particular specific terms. I've heard Chris Silbach say the same thing. I heard Chris Silbach say the same thing. He said, why we keep giving these rich white guys tax breaks? He didn't mince his words, neither did Tamaya Denard. They kept it super rizzle. I can't repeat everybody's comments, because I'm sure a lot of people might have said the same thing. I just remember those two specifically speaking out and using that kind of language. So it's not an issue that's invisible. People see the issue. But do they have the will to make that kind of a stance? Do they have the will? We'll find out. Let me see more of your comments here. When cost of living, I think I read that one already. Drop writes, all those black Democrats who thought Obama was the one you've been waiting for and did not have a job in 2016 and did not vote for crooked Hillary, they are working now in a good job. Will they show up for Democrats in 2020? What do you have to lose, he writes. Someone writes, housing will be a big sticking point for the next city council election, and no empty promises or conducting studies. Actually, you're wrong. Drip. Once again, the African-American unemployment rate was cut in half under Obama. Tell him. Educational achievement rose on all levels under Obama. Let me know when you stop using Fox News talking points. Smashing with facts is getting old. Hashtag Black Smart. Kiki writes, gotta go. Love you all. Then she writes, that's my cousin. Taylor writes, you don't even have to have an open unit. Landlords always say, I may have something coming up next month. Yeah, they do. They always do. Yeah, we'll take a fee. Yeah, I'll take $100 and put it in their pocket. I mean, you talk about a hustle. Like, is this money that's even like taxable? Are landlords reporting this income? Because what's to stop them from saying, you walk out the door, they're like, I dirty ain't taking them. And they do this. They take your application and go, and then put the $100 in their pocket. What's to stop them from doing that? I mean, how would you regulate that? So, I mean, clearly there are some loopholes there, and people, working class people, black, white, and whoever, are being taken advantage of that. They're being straight up taken advantage of. Like, again, you might be looking for an apartment. You might look at 10 apartments, $50 at an average of $10, $25 a piece. That's $250. And you don't even have an apartment. You're just looking for an apartment. And everybody knows that when you're looking for an apartment, you got to stack your chips because you got to pay first and last. In some cases, you got to pay the first 2 months. You got to have deposits. You got to pay for the moving cost. You got to get things cut off and cut back on again. All this stuff takes money. I think it's a way for landlords to, on the sly, decide who they want and who they don't want in their building. I mean, when you read, just reading application fee $100 is going to automatically take away a whole lot of people. Like, just reading that, like, oh man, this is a great place. Check this out. You're looking at it. Oh man, it's got a bathroom off the bedroom. Oh, this is tight. Oh, it's got hardwood floors. I love hardwood floors. $100 application fee. Move on. Move on to the next one. That is crazy, man. Oh man, the games out here. TNT writes, clap back, Nate. Be nice for what? Right. You talking about Black Line? Absolutely. Actually, I left him on too long, actually. Bunky writes, that Reparations Council was a fraud. Tone Talk should have orchestrated the event. But all that coon council babble was a Democratic theatric hustle to act like they were having a black agenda. Sharp writes, I agree, application hustle, right. Application hustle. Mason Mahler writes, Nate has had enough. Finally choked out BL. Enough with the foolishness. Tis, right. He just calls in to try to irritate me. So when you do, tis. You get what you give, period. Or when I perceive you trying to, like, if you want to call and make a point. The nonsense, it's a waste of time, man. If you don't want to talk about reparations, we got a lot of stuff we talking about, a lot of local issues. If this ain't for you, change the dial, period. Simple as that. You ain't got to tell me about it. Angela writes, cities across the country are brokering development deals in the millions, but I'm not sure what that means, to black people to the same extent is unheard of. This country prints the money and can certainly issue it. Well, one thing I know they're doing in California is they're talking about rent control. They're bringing back that phrase again, rent control, meaning that local municipalities and cities controlling what rent is going to be in their city to try to deal with exactly what we've been talking about this morning. I've heard nobody introduce the concept of rent control into the conversation, so I'll introduce it. Yeah, hey, we understand that, there's people out there that are working class folks. They don't have a lot of money. Yet we want to make sure that they can maintain, a home, a dwelling in some of these neighborhoods in which the rent is going up and up and up. Now, if council did that, the developers want to revolt. What do you mean? This is anti-capitalist. Oh, the government shouldn't be doing this. The government shouldn't be doing that. I see Jeff Passer. He writes a lot about that. He's an African-American, Republican, endorsed Republican member of city council. But I saw recently he was on his Facebook page talking about rent. The government shouldn't be in this job. The government should be regulating this. This idea that you can let capitalists, and that's what we're dealing with in Cincinnati. This is capitalism run amok. This is capitalism run amok. That's all it is. With no controls and safeguards, no balances. Just do whatever because you're going to build something nice and shiny. And then the fact that it's nice and shiny, it must be good for everybody. That's not true. That is not true. Do we need to introduce rent control as a concept here in the city of Cincinnati? City council says, look, here is the top part of what the rent is going to be. Period. Mike Jones writes, Tamaya standing for something. She has my support. Absolutely. Sharp writes, I'm glad we have Nate and CDM. We wouldn't hear this anywhere else. Well, I mean, there's people all over the dial doing great things, man. But this is what I do. There's a lot of people doing great things. And I'll say it again. The community can't have black folks in the country and in Cincinnati in particular, because that's where I'm from. We can't have enough good benefactors, doing the good work on our behalf. If, in fact, that's what they're doing. If they own some BS, then that's something different. Ms. D writes, and after the abatement ends, are those developers going to make sure that the building does not become blighted? Tracy writes, John is talking top news. Broadway Flo writes, John got a point today. I think John has a point a lot of days. Ray writes, Asians are the fastest growing group. They just stay over on their visas. Bunky writes, Russian immigration is on the rise heavy. Someone writes, is Zorro saying Elizabeth Warren can't save us? I don't know. He might be saying that. Clue Magic writes, John sounds like a cantankerous narrator of a Morgan Freeman movie. You are so funny for that one. Cantankerous narrator. He does have that cantankerous narrator voice, doesn't he? Bunky writes, the influx of immigration is purposely done to keep Black Americans at the bottom. Ms. D writes, The Last Black Man in San Francisco is a movie getting great buzz about gentrification. I'm going to check that out. Let's see here. People say they had no sound. Not sure why you don't have any sound. Nate, the application fee is refunded if you don't get the apartment. Trust be verified. No, it's not. That's what we're talking about, Drop. That's the whole point of having a conversation. The application fee, in a lot of cases, is not refundable. They'll tell you straight up, it's not refundable. They'll say it to you. And so what that means is that, and see, that needs to change. And see, the reason why, in some cases, and I have to be fair, in some cases, what they'll do, and in most cases, if you take the apartment, then that refund fee can be absorbed into the first month rent, things like that. But again, I remember, man, we must have wasted like $75. I think we went to 2 different places early on in our marriage. We were looking to rent a home or a place, for ourselves. And then little Buddha came along. This is many years ago, but it was just the wifey and I, and we were looking for a place. And I remember that it was a $35 fee for both of them, and we didn't get the return. We didn't get either one of them. And I told the wifey with the second one, we shouldn't even do this because, you know what I'm saying, I kind of felt something. You know how you can feel somebody, you can tell when somebody on that F shit, and you could tell that whoever you dealing with, like in this case, it was a potential, renter type of situation. It was a white male, and I could just kind of tell. We never got the place, and they kept in total, $70. Now, could I have kept my $70 and did something better with it? You damn right I could have. But I had to make that investment, and we lost it. Now, we were in a position where, does it matter? Yeah, it matters, but it wasn't stopping us from eating. How many people out there? And see, when you get into $50, $75, $100, to me, see, number one, there needs to be an across the board. Here is what the rental application is going to be across the board. Here's what a rental application costs in Cincinnati. I don't care what the place is. Now, if you got a ritzy place, they don't like that because if it's $25 or $35, then you're going to get, they might get what they call the wrong element. I don't look at people like that. But again, if you're renting something, you want to make sure that somebody's not going to mess up your property and cost you more money, and they're not going to mess up the curb appeal of your place. I get it, but I think there's other ways of dealing with that. Let's see. Sister V writes, love the dialogue on the rent application hustle. It's been long overdue and time for exposure. We even had slumlords asking for rent app fees. She writes, reparations now. I'm down with it 100%. My brother has a rent control apartment out in LA. He writes La La Land. Yeah, drop. So what's it like in you're on the West Coast, man. I'm reading on the West Coast over in California, they're debating about rent control. They want people to come in and handle that business because you can't trust the developers or the landlords, the property owner. And again, I'm not saying anything against property ownership because that's a way to make money for yourself. There's members of the audience that own apartments and rent apartments out to people. Okay, so, if you're in that position, how much reform are you willing to accept in order to do something about it? I don't know. You tell me. NYC is talking about universal rent control as well. You don't know rent until you rent in New York. $2,000 monthly for a studio is low. Damn shame. Yeah, but the reality is, and again, it don't really matter because you care about, well, it does matter, but it may not matter as much to some people because most people, they're focused on where they live. They're focused on what they have to do, right? They're focused on that. So, you got to remember that. So when we start talking about what's happening in New York and what's happening all over the country, a lot of people in Cincinnati might tune it out, but I don't, because what I realize is that, unfortunately, a lot of what we're dealing with here in Cincinnati, people dealing with this all over the country. Gentrification is a thing all over the place. Reverse white flight is happening all over the country. Where you remember white flight, white folks left the neighborhood. We don't want to be around these black folks, went out to the suburbs. Well, over the last 30, 40 years, all the cool stuff is being built in downtown areas. Next to the river, next to the entertainment district, as a part of the business district, next to the stadiums. And so now, white folks with means want to come back to it, so they got shorter distance to enjoy all of the privileges of living, close to a center city like that. There's plenty of folks, man, that live downtown. They love it. They absolutely love it. They're close to the party, but they can shut the door at the same time. And that's what a lot of people want to do across the country. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52. I heard you mention my name about as far as the property and rental out here in California.
Yeah, rent control.
And okay. That story that you're hearing is coming out of Los Angeles County, and a lot of stories that you hear that make it nationally is usually coming out of LA County or San Francisco, because Nate, the state of California is run by Democrats. Okay, there's hardly, at least right now, there is zero Republican pushback. So when you hear something like rent control proposal in LA, it's gonna pass. Okay. And the reason is because out here in California, the state will not free up certain land for development to build housing for people. So when people don't have housing to go to, as far as new housing for people who are renting, who potentially could afford to purchase a home, if there's no homes available to buy, then that's when the rent goes sky high, and then the Democrat-run municipalities, their answer to that is to have rent control instead of opening up some of these lands and allow development to take place. Because, Nate, it's a history out here in California. You can't build a house because of some little endangered species, little bug or something. So it's starting to change out here, Nate. They're starting to develop, because if you ever notice some of the videos that I put out, Walking While Retired, I'm showing some of the new development that's going on in the county that I live in, which is not LA County. And Orange County used to be run by Republicans until the last midterm in 2018, when a lot of those seats were taken over by Democrats. So if you want, I mean, I can tell you right now, Nate, I live in a 800 square foot condominium, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, which I purchased in 1992 for 100,000. Right now, the value is 320,000. The average rent, if I was to rent this out, or if this was an apartment, the average rent would be $1,400 a month, Nate.
Wow. You ever thought about doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that position right now. I'm in the position right now to either fix my place up and rent it out, and then purchase somewhere else, like in Arizona where my daughter lives, where the property values are a little bit lower than here in California. I mean, California, it's off the hook. It's just like New York, Nate. It's the same thing in states or counties or cities that are totally run by Democrats. I don't know why they do it, Nate. I mean, I have my own opinion, but it's just hard in certain places because the people have nowhere to go. Unlike in your city, in Cincinnati, Nate, where there is divided government, which is very good, and that's why certain things are getting pushed back, as opposed to out here in California. It's no stopping Democrats. Everything you hear, Nate, proposal this or suggestion that is going to happen. Gas taxes go up July 1st. I mean, Nate, I could go on and on about California. Just like I told you about the border crisis last year. I told you what was going to happen, and lo and behold, it's happening. And it's going to get worse, especially next year when another migrant rush for the border is going to take place next summer. So, but anyway, Nate, I mean, great show, my brother.
Hey, hold me before you
Yes.
roll out, man. Speaking of the border, you see those images? I'm not sure where that was of the father and the daughter that drowned to death.
Yeah, I see it. I see it all the time, Nate. These images are nothing new for people who live here, but because it's an election year now, and another fact is that, like I told you, Nate, this is a Democrat state. Kamala Harris is from this state. She's running for president. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she's from this state. And back in 2013, when Obama was running for president, Hispanic issues were number one topic. You had he was on Telemundo every other week. You had Congressman, that Hispanic dude from New York. He was on TV all the time. They were talking about dreamers and blah, blah, and comprehensive immigration. But now, Nate, you don't hear anything. It's almost like the Democrats don't even want the Hispanic vote. All you hear about is the black vote. So all I'm telling you, Nate, get ready for next year. And this California border issue is going to be huge, especially if Kamala Harris continues to climb in this Democrat circus. And if you don't think the first orange president is not going to throw this in the Democrats' face, just get ready, Nate. And I'm telling you, 2020, with Donald Trump unleashed to run a campaign the way he wants to, as the incumbent president, I'm telling you, Nate, you already know the internet traffic that the Trump campaign 2020 reelect is already doing. He is going to destroy. I'm telling you, Nate, I'm not saying it's going to be a landslide, but I'm telling you, if the wrong candidate is put up by the Democrats, especially being from California, I'm telling you, Nate, it's going to be ugly for the Democrats. And you already know it's going to be 5 to 8% black vote that ain't going to show up for the Democrats. I'm not saying they're going to vote for Trump, but it's going to be at least 5 to 8% of Democrats that are just not going to vote because, Nate, they working, they got jobs. So I'm just saying, Nate, Cincinnati is very fortunate to have divided government because if Democrats ran your state or your city or your county, it would be just like California.
Well, are there any examples?
That's another.
Are there any examples off the top of your head where Republicans are running it? Because if you look at who runs,
yes, Nate.
Where's that at?
Yes, Nate. Orange County, California. That's what I'm telling you. Orange County, California was run by Republicans.
You'll drop. Sounds like he dropped.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, you
I'm
still
here.
there? You still there? Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah. But like I was saying, Orange County, California. Just Google it. They lost this. I mean, Orange County became Democrat in the last midterm election in 2018. Katie Porter, she won, and it's another one I can't think of the name, but it was a couple of seats that were held by Republicans in 2018 that they lost, and Democrats took over.
Okay, so but the
So I guess
point
my
is
call dropped.
that
Yeah.
you keep making this point where, and again, I'm not trying to challenge you, but I'm just want to say I want to know what the comp
No,
is, what's
challenge me,
comparable.
please.
But
Please challenge me.
okay, well, great. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, so you keep saying that we're so lucky to have divided government here in
Yes.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
But our city council has a majority of Democrats. We have a Democrat mayor. The county is going more blue.
Mhm.
So we're going more and more blue. Now, the state of
Right.
Ohio is red. Every state office, including the governor, is held by a Republican. And the state
Right.
legislature, all of our state legislature, state senate run by Republicans as well. And you see that a
Right.
lot in a lot of states. So you might have a city that's
Right.
blue, but the entire state is red.
Right.
So to blame the
Right.
problems of that city all on the Democrats, I think, is not true. But my question is,
Well,
what's the
yeah.
comp? Is there a place where Republicans are running everything? And
No.
how are black people faring in those particular? Well, look at the South.
Okay. Well, Nate. First of all, okay, if you look at the state of California, okay, Northern California is San Francisco. Okay, the middle of California is L.A. County, and then you go down south. Then you got San Diego County. San Diego is a military city, and the mayor is Republican, but he's a rhino. He was elected by mostly Democrats because it's a military town. Okay, then you come up to L.A., Nate, and I live between L.A. County and San Diego County. Orange County, Orange County is that county in between L.A. and San Diego. Orange County used to be Republican. Okay, Nate, and they were able to run their city even though the state was Democrat. They pretty much ran their city the way they wanted to. But in those other counties that are run by Democrats in a Democrat state, that's what I mean by there's no Republican pushback. I mean, there's none, Nate. And the few Republicans that are there, they're paid off. Or they're given some kind of cushy committee seat to go along with the Democrats. So that's all I'm saying. And again, Nate, California is that state to where you can actually say that you can't put anything on Republicans anymore. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you can't compare California, the state, to the state of Ohio. There's just no way.
I'm
California's
not. I'm just
way too
comparing.
big.
No, I'm not. I'm comparing the quality of life for the citizens that live in areas
Mm-hmm.
that are controlled politically by Democrats as opposed to Republicans. That's what I'm trying to get at. You keep trying to make it seem
Yes.
like when the Democrats are controlling everything, life is so horrible. If only we had divided government. If only we had Republicans in
Nate,
charge. And I'm just saying, I ain't never
Nate,
seen that.
I know, but Nate, all you gotta do is ask the residents of these counties and of these cities that are run by Democrats.
Or
But
we
see,
can,
in California, it's
or,
different,
or
Nate. It's just
yeah.
different.
I'm not trying to compare California because you're in California. I could
Just
never out
like New York.
California you.
Just like New York. New York and California are almost separate countries within the United States. I mean, they just do things. They do things in California and New York as a test lab for other places across the country that are run by Democrats. And again, I'm telling you, Nate, the proof is in the pudding now. All you got to do is just Google certain things. And some of these Democrats that won in 18, and they won in these Republican districts, like out here in California, I'm just telling you, Nate, it's going to be a lot of people who vote Republican who normally do not turn out in these all blue states that are going to show up for the orange one. They're going to show up for Trump in 2020. And I'm telling you, Nate, you see his rallies. You see Trump's rallies. If you saw the last rally in Florida, Nate, I mean, really, are you going to sit here and tell me that this man is not someone to be taken lightly? You just can't. I mean, Trump is Trump, Nate. And I keep telling you, if they put up Biden, and he picks one of them women to be his running mate, I, I don't see how they can stand up against him, Nate. This man will do whatever it takes. He is uncouth. He'll lie. He'll use vulgarities.
But you love him.
And no, I keep telling you, I do not worship false idols. I vote for a party's ideology.
Right.
And for people always to say,
you're worshiping the false idolatry of the Republican Party.
But Nate, I'm an individual citizen. Am I right? Yes. Politics is a very small part of my life.
I get it. I understand.
Because I vote for business purposes. I don't vote for emotional purposes. Okay? It's a business to me. It ain't personal. But when you rely so much on the day-to-day living from the government, whether it be local or national, it becomes very personal, Nate, when you put a guy like Trump in the White House that's not a Democrat. People get emotional. You see it, Nate. You see, it's some old white lady that goes on, is trying to sell a book saying that Trump raped her at some department store in the 80s. I mean, Nate, what type of mentality does it take to come on national
TV? To rape a
TV?
woman?
No, to put these accusations on someone just to sell a book.
Well, what makes you think it's an accusation? Maybe it's the truth. I don't know. Neither do you.
That's not the point.
That is the point.
But Nate, if you want the truth about an alleged rape that happened over almost 40 years ago, you don't go to MSNBC. You go talk to a police detective.
Well, no, you don't, because unfortunately there's a statute of limitations on rape. Unfortunately.
Thank you. Exactly.
So if you got raped by somebody like the president, and you know you don't have a legal stand for it, you might write a book about it and put it out there. I mean, that might be what you do.
No, wrong, because at the time, Nate, Donald Trump was a jet-setting business billionaire bachelor type dude who had his choice of many different women.
Yeah, those kind of men never rape women, do
this
they?
This woman knew who Trump was, and she could have got a check cut if the shit really happened. I mean, you already know what happened. Michael Cohen said that the Trump people have always paid women off.
Have you ever heard of date rape?
Huh?
You ever heard of date rape?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Okay, then. So in date rape scenarios, usually they know one another. So just because.
But what does this have to do? What does this have to do with this lady? This lady, they went out on a date.
You was trying to say like he don't know her and he's some kind of playboy, and I'm saying like, okay, well, yeah, that totally absolves him. I mean,
Nate, see, Nate, you used to be a player back in the day. Am I correct?
Never.
Yes, you were a player. Nate, stop it. I done heard you tell stories when you was in college. You was a man of the women.
I was never a player. I just crushed a lot.
Nate,
that's a joke. That's a joke.
Nate, if you was
that's a joke.
Nate, if you was at a department store buying some lingerie for one of your honeys, and you see this fine ass chick walk in, and y'all make eye contact, and you go and say, "Hey, why don't you help me pick this out for my cousin?" Okay, y'all start flirting, and she like, "What, you want me to try it on for you?" I mean, come on, Nate. This is typical what Trump did. He was flirting with the lady based on her story. This is her story.
Well, her story says that he raped her. So you saying that's typical?
No, Nate. Did you hear the whole story? Quit reading headlines and read the whole story, Nate.
Yes.
She said she was in a department store. She saw Trump. Trump hit on her about some lingerie. He asked her, "Well, you ought to try it on for me." And she said, yes. She goes back there. They're in the room. And then she said he pushed up on her. She pushed back. And then she left, got in the car with her friend. I mean, she did. She's been all over MSNBC. But when she was on CNN, Anderson Cooper had to cut her ass off because she was talking about rape was a fantasy. Nate, Broadway.
Listen, I'm not saying anything happened. I'm just saying it was an allegation. You know, Trump says she's not my type. There's a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, why would Trump ever stoop to low to even be with a woman that looks like that?" But I mean, that's the rape culture
and that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm talking about. Before I go, Nate, Donald Trump is going to be off the chain in 2020 campaign. That kind of rhymes because in 2016 he didn't think he was gonna win. Nobody thought he was gonna win. But this time, Nate, he coming fully locked and loaded off safety.
Because he's got something to lose.
Dropping. What's that?
I'm saying that's because he's got something to lose. You know, if you're a first-term president, what do you want more than anything else? A second term. So yeah, I agree. He's going to come real hard to try to stay in office.
And he knows what he's been through these previous 3.5, almost 4 years. So you know he coming hard. You know he got a revenge list already made up. And you know he going to have opposition research through the wazoo. I'm telling you, Nate, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, I don't care who you put up, unless someone comes along next year, which is a possibility. You could have someone in the Democrat that's going to come to the party late. It could happen. So all I'm telling you, Nate, this whole thing with Joe Biden locked up because he got the old black vote like old-ass overseer Mason Mahler, yeah, he got that demographic, but he ain't got the young vote. So on that note, Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Thanks for taking my call, Mr. Ivey. Peace.
Rackham, peace to you. Thanks for making the call. I appreciate it. That particular woman's name is E. Jean Carroll. And she says that many years ago, Trump assaulted her in a dressing room at a Manhattan department store back in the mid-'90s. Of course, Trump denies the allegations. All I'm just saying that there was a lot of allegations out there. It's a lot of allegations. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's an allegation. This idea of just because you're a playboy and you got money that you wouldn't rape somebody, well, what we found in some cases, that's exactly who the rapist is in some cases, because they get this attitude like, oh, you can't tell me no, like Kobe Bryant did. You can't tell. Who are you to tell me no? You're not even as beautiful as the women I usually get. I've got women look better than you throwing themselves at me. You should be throwing yourself at me. I mean, that there is that mentality out there. They call it like a jock mentality. Some of this happened with these athletes. Everybody's telling them yes. They finally meet a woman that tells them no, they're going to take it. So that's the only pushback I was trying to give you. And then, like I said, man, I think there's a lot of people who've been brutalized and raped and sexually assaulted, and they never come forward. And part of the reason they don't is because of the culture. Like, oh, nobody's going to believe you. I don't know if it's true or not, but what I will tell you is that I don't think people just make this stuff up for no reason. And that in a lot of cases, it really happened. And before you say, well, why did she go to the police? Because that's what happens. People are ashamed. Nobody wants to admit that somebody else took advantage of them. That's hard for somebody to admit, male or female. Nobody wants to admit that, oh, I was taken advantage of. What did you do? I just laid there. Now, the world might not understand it, but in the moment, things happen. Unfortunate. Before we roll out of here, I want to remind you that your gas is going up in the state of Ohio. Get ready for that. Yes, thank you, Mr. Fiscally Responsible Republican newly elected Governor Mike DeWine. As a part of his transportation budget, there's going to be an increase of 10.5% on every gallon. Starts on Monday. So where my Uber drivers at, my Lyft drivers at, you're going to pay more to do business now. Starting on Monday, you're going to be paying more money for gas, 10.5 cents per gallon. So if you get 10 gallons, right, or you got, most vehicles are, let's say like you got like 8 or 9, 10 gallons, 12 gallons. If you fill up, it's going to cost you at least $1 more now. Look at it that way. It's going to cost you $1.50 more to fill up your car now. $1.50 more. Now think about if you're a Lyft driver or you're an Uber driver, how many times you got to fill up? You might fill up, I don't know, at least 3-4 times a week, right? That adds up. Diesel prices are going up as well by 19 cents to maintain our deteriorating roads and bridges. So it's going to be infrastructure here. Is it worth it to you? Yes, that's what you get. Mike Jones writes, Kentucky is one of the poorest states. Republicans run. Your narrative is false, right, Mike Jones? Great point. Kentucky is one of the poorest states. The people in Kentucky is like living in the middle fucking ages, and they got Republicans running everything, including the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. So Again, I'm not trying to say that one party is better than the other. What I'm trying to tell you is that, you know, there's blame to go around all the way around. That's what I'll say. Dale writes, I did drive by there later on in the day and seen like family members stepped up and they had a couple of, let me back up here. Because he said that a black family just got evicted out of their house around the corner from me. I hate when I see that. Yesterday, they had police all around that house and all their stuff out in the yard. You would have thought it was a SWAT raid happening. Yeah, I've seen that before. Like the police, I mean, it's like, that's a great time to commit a crime because all the police are over here because somebody's getting evicted. He writes, next year is an election year. Yes, it is. Next year is an election year. Pat writes, drop our gas taxes going up on July 1st. Yes, it is. Get ready. Just in time for the July 4th travel week. Do you think they picked that date out of a hat? No, they're smart people at the Ohio Department of Transportation. They know what they're doing. Millions upon millions of Ohioans will be getting in their cars and driving to family members' houses, including my family, because my wife is from Cleveland. And you're going to be paying 10.5% more in taxes. 10.5 cents more in taxes, not percent, but cents. That is terrible. Dale writes, that Ohio gas tax is about to be crazy on top of the high gas prices. They are going to force folks to gas up in Kentucky or Indiana. You're right about that. I am close to Kentucky. I can get to Kentucky in 5 minutes. Dale writes, I did drive by there later on in the day and seen like family members stepped up and they had a couple of U-Haul trucks and got their stuff off the front yard. Thank goodness that it didn't rain yesterday. That's great. Angela writes, Cincinnati has been Democratic now for how many years? Decades? Good point. Mike Jones writes, run by dinos, Democrats in name only. I would argue that Lucan, Cranley, and Mallory are just that. Let me see. The talk show host is quoting negative hip-hop again. Well, I don't think hip-hop is negative, Fame. That was your racket. I've always been consistent. Hip-hop is just like your TV. There's certain television shows you don't want to deal with. You would never want to have this television show on when your kids are in there. You got other television shows where the whole family watches. Or you watch yourself. It's educational. Hip-hop music is no damn difference. Like I said, you're always going to have the malt liquor of every industry out there. How many people drink malt liquor? You don't like malt liquor. How many people love malt liquor? I ain't hating on you. You love what you love. You ain't got to answer. But there's a lot of people out there that ingest, or shall I say drink alcohol, but they don't fuck with malt liquor. Same thing with certain hip-hop, man. If you don't like your gangster rap or a particular artist, don't listen to them. But don't throw out your EPMD tapes. Don't throw out your Dead Press album. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. See. Nah, I doubt if Nate ever was a player. He cried when a punter took his woman, LOL. See, you just ain't gonna let me lay that down, are you, King Cobla? It's always before me, huh? Damn it, I wish I never told that story. It's all good, though, man. I was caught on my feelings. I was a younger man then. I've learned from that situation, I must admit. Mike Jones writes, most of these local politicians, Republican and Democrats, cower to corporate interests, i.e. FC Cincinnati and Children's Hospital. That's why Tamaya Denard is so important. Right. That's why Yvette Simpson was so important. You know, I never had a problem with Children's Hospital. Yeah, build it. It's important. But if you're having a conversation about whether there should be more equity for a neighborhood like Avondale, I'm always going to go for the equity for the neighborhood. It just makes sense. So people try to say, you're anti-business. See, that's how they try to do you. It's the same way that that's just how people try to do you. You know, if they're looking for an issue with you, they'll try to find one thing and run with it. Like we saw Dan Hills did with me on Monday. Nathan said if he wanted to have clips, he's already got clips 45 minutes into the conversation. Oh boy, this has got your radio. That's because that's what he wanted to call it from day one. It wouldn't matter what was said. That's what he was going to do with it. That's how people are. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. With Yvette Simpson. Same thing with Tamaya DeMart. Man, I see people on social media going so super hard at her. Twitter, super hard. But it wouldn't matter if she changed over and became a Republican. They still would have a problem with her. So you should just do you. Let me see. Bunky writes, long snapper body next College Bay. It wasn't a long snapper. I've said this many times before. It was not. Yeah, thanks for making the call, Drop. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate everybody. Drop writes, I get my weed delivered to my front door. Well, aren't you special, man? Mason Muller writes, people love complaining about the Dems, but won't put their names on the ballot. Just talking shit to talk shit. But on the sidelines, asked McWaz. Hashtag no vote, no opinion. Well, sometimes that kind of stuff, urges people to get out there and get involved and get involved in the political system. So, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of good people out here. We got an election cycle coming up. We got school board coming up. We got judges. We got county races. We got city council, 2021 city council mayoral race. Mayoral race, that's going to be real big. City council race is going to be real big. I plan on being right here in the middle of it, mixing up with you, reporting live from the scene, educating the masses, and chopping it up on a regular basis right here on the Nathan Ivey Show. Of course, powered by Sin Digital Media, new urban voice in Cincinnati. Check us out on Facebook and check out our podcast. And we'll be back and doing it again this week. I mean, man, today's going to be busy. Tomorrow, a little lighter. And then, of course, the Donnie B Is It Just Me podcast will be streaming that live on Friday at 12:30. We'll be streaming it live Friday on 12:30. So make sure you check that out. Chicago is now in the weed business. Recreational marijuana is now legal in Chicago. They need the dollars. Okay. Mrs. Love Being Black writes, traveling this morning. See you all in a week. Okay, well, be safe then, Rhonda. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe out there. Well, listen, thank you so much for checking out the show. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and put an end to it right now. We'll pick it back up tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. We'll be chopping up, live, local, and vocal, talking about what's going on, taking your reaction. You never know who we'll be talking to as well. I'm going to be reaching out to some individuals. Let me check one thing here before we roll out. Okay, great. All right. So again, I'll be checking out. I have no plans on doing a watch party outside of my house today. It's just a very short turnaround. But let me know if you're interested in doing something on Thursday. I got some other things to do Thursday late, but I'll still have enough time to get over and be a part of it. Let me know if I can get a good response. Then I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll go ahead and I've got the place already set up, and I'll let you know. Now, somebody said it's a little bit early. Okay. Well, I kind of feel that way a little bit, but I think it's never too early to get together and chop it up. So I do know that they're going to be having more debates as they whittle this down. And I'm definitely want to set something up so we can all get together. We'll call it a chopper event, and we'll go and check out the debates as well. And ran into somebody who owns a coffee shop yesterday, had heard me put it out the word, and she offered her space as well. So we got multiple options. I just want to know if you down. Are you down? If you down, I'm down. Let's make it happen. So have an excellent day. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Until then, take care of yourself. I'm just going straight out dry. No music this morning. Take care of yourself, and I'm out.